Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is TWitWoW in review. Interesting week in the world of wrestling. We know who the new world champion is on Raw, being Seth Rollins. Some teases of where that championship reign might go. Roman Reigns had a celebration for over 1,000 days as the WWE Universal World Heavyweight Champion. Even got a new title for it that sparked a bit of discussion online. NXT had Battleground. I know, Ashton, you said that you watched Impact this week, so I don't know if you'll leave that to extracurricular or if there's anything notable on that show. It just seemed like a lot of AEW, of course, coming off of Double or Nothing, looking ahead to the next show. And yeah, just a lot in this week in the world of wrestling. How did you feel about it?
Oh, man. I will say, I honestly feel like Double or Nothing, borderline disaster, truly awful pay-per-view for the most part, but this week's Dynamite was one of the best episodes of Dynamite I've watched in a long time.
That's good, at least.
And to top it off, this week's Rampage was the best episode of Rampage that I've seen in a very long time. Very, very long time.
Yeah, you had told me how stacked the card was. I didn't check out anything. You know how I am with all of AEW stuff. But I was surprised that they stacked Rampage that hard because we know it's going to be phased out for AEW Collision soon.
No, it isn't. It's not going to be phased out. Dark and Dark Elevation are phasing out or have already phased out at this point. But from what I understand, the plan is for basically like the Dark and Elevation style matches to start happening on Rampage now, which is what surprised me because, like you said, it's crazy that they had that high quality in the Rampage knowing that.
Exactly. Okay, so yeah, I got a little mixed up there. But yeah, I knew tinkering was happening with Rampage. And it was just interesting because, again, like you just said, we know with Collision coming, Rampage is, not going anywhere. It's kind of suffering a demotion, if you will. Obviously, to me, on the WWE side, the big story, which has been the big story for the last couple of years, the Bloodline, new wrinkle here. Jimmy Uso no longer taking Roman stuff. I liked where Jimmy tried to approach it as a character, saying, "Look, I don't want to fight you, Roman. You're our brother. Everything else, we just want respect." It's a very reasonable demand. Roman essentially said no. I guess we'll go into the segment a bit later. And Solo, who seemingly chose the Usos at first, gives the Samoan spike to Jimmy. Leaves with Roman. It seems like the speculation and the rumors about Usos versus Roman and Solo at Money in the Bank, which I think even you were one of the people that said that was very likely in your mind. Seems like we're on a collision course for that. I loved how that SmackDown ended because the wise man Paul Heyman asking Roman Reigns, my tribal chief, what about Jay? And Roman said, Jay's going to do what he always does. He's going to fall in line. He's going to come home. So Jay continues to be the central character in this to the point where I saw Alex Foster tweeted, y'all sure Cody is the one, because to me, Jay is the guy, and I can understand why people continue to believe that with how he's being treated in this story. So what did you think about that whole segment? Because I was so invested. We were all on Discord, and I deafened just so I could watch every moment of it.
Yeah, that segment was excellent. I think I probably paid the least attention to it out of everyone in the Discord because the Discord was dead ass silent and I was just playing putt party with Craig. It was just the two of us for like 2 or 3 holes in a row, or 2 or 3 courses in a row, I should say, while you guys were watching it, just in dead silence. It was crazy, but yeah, no. From what I did see of it, amazing segment. Jimmy's starting to really step up. Jay's acting is amazing, as always. Roman's intensity has not stepped down. It's just insane. Solo with a little tease and then, staying loyal to Roman was great. I think it was really well done.
Yeah, I think the part of the segment that made me pop the most was when Jimmy pie-faced Roman. Because there was even a video going around on Twitter, I don't know if you saw it, of like every time that Roman has pie-faced someone as the tribal chief kind of asserting dominance. He's done it to Jay, to Jimmy, to Sammy. I don't think he's done it to Heyman. I think it'd be interesting to see what Paul's reaction would be if he got pie-faced. But to see that come back around. Yeah, he'd fall. But yeah, I just think it's what I really admire about the storyline, even at this late stage, it's the little things. I think the best television, which just to kind of go a bit off the reservation here, you know that you and I recently, we finished up Barry together because that was something that we were doing together. And I had said in the Discord, I had a nice conversation with both you and Abel about it last night because Movies and Television channel was popping off in our Discord. Anybody wants to join our Discord, $3 a month. You can check out details on our Patreon in the description box below. I was saying that, the more days have passed, the more I had really grown to appreciate it because more details were emerging how it was all interconnected. It was a show that really rewarded its longtime viewers with callbacks.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this storyline. Seeing Jimmy do that, when you know that Roman has done that for a long time to people, again, to kind of assert dominance, to kind of remind people of the hierarchy
Very satisfying.
in the bloodline. Absolutely. I love angles. I love television more generally. I just love art, whether movies, TV, wrestling angles, whatever, that reward its viewers that don't insult their intelligence, that trust you to watch the product week to week, that don't have to be like, oh, he did the thing and then that was the thing that he used to do to everybody. It's like, we get it. Show, not tell. And I really believe Roman when he says, again, and it's been a line that I've loved, this isn't McDonald's, this isn't fast food. We're doing filet mignon over here. And that segment, I think, was just another addition. And to circle back to something you said, I agree with you that I thought Jimmy did well on the promo. I was a bit scared, honestly, because I'm used to Jay being a great talker, a great emoter, and everything else. And he certainly was here. I was a bit worried about Jimmy, though, because we know that, he isn't in the same ring shape that Jay is. He could still go, obviously, but I didn't know, on his own, can he really cut that promo? And he did. He did. I'll actually be looking forward to how he develops on the road to Money in the Bank. And yeah, I just thought it was a great angle. And just to top off this discussion, I'm going to go to a bit of a different direction here.
Oh, if you're getting ready to top it off, you want to hold that thought while I insert something real quick?
Absolutely. Insert whatever you like.
Yeah, I was going to say, because literally on the SmackDown before Battleground, was that the Saudi pay-per-view? Night of Champions.
No, Saudi pay-per-view was Night of Champions, yes.
Oh, literally on the SmackDown before the Saudi pay-per-view, Roman pie-faced Jimmy, twice. And I was literally saying, Jimmy had that look in his eyes, this is not happening. This is not okay. And this was... It might not have been on the SmackDown before the Saudi. It was the one where Roman officially announced that he and Solo were going after the tag titles, I think.
Yes.
He pie-faced Jimmy really hard twice in a row because, after the first time, Jimmy stepped up to him again, and he just pie-faced him again.
Yeah.
I remember that shit, distinctly, and me thinking, oh, shit. That, even after the second pie-face, Jimmy still had that look in his face, Roman pissed in his cereal, basically.
Yeah, and I was going to top it off, but then you bringing it up put a little bit more gas in my tank, because what I love about this isn't your typical faction. This isn't like an evolution with Triple H doing it to a Randy Orton or a Batista, right? What makes this so unique is that this is a familial faction.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally called the Bloodline.
Yeah.
And Jimmy and Jay, they're okay, let me be careful. I was about to say they're healthy characters. They're not, but not, obviously that's a whole other thing. I like how they're presented and they're written, because for Jimmy and Jay, it's not about ego. They believe very authentically and very genuinely in a concept of family, in the idea of family. And I think for them as characters, that concept is starting just a little bit to be interrogated. What makes a family? And Jimmy kind of laying out his case, well, a family is respect. A family is reciprocity and care and love and regard. He even says to Solo, I'm your brother. I'm telling you, this guy's using you.
Yeah.
This guy is going to use you and grind you, all this stuff. Yep. And Solo, that message wasn't received yet. But it was the same way in Lucha Underground, because every time I talk about a good storyline, I always have to think about Lucha Underground. I loved with, Dante and fucking Killshot, how we interrogated, what war does to a person, and can they heal, and can they be redeemed, and this and that. And I have to wonder about the Roman character, because Dominique, who does great Twitter threads at times, I have to recommend that people follow Dominique on Twitter. I think he's at Domo_Adams. And he was talking about how he really feels like it's all coming together. Like he feels like this is the ultimate Roman Reigns story because he sees at WrestleMania 40 Roman losing the title, and that's the last thing he'll lose. It'll probably be to Cody Rhodes, fucking unfortunately, but I would love if it was like to a Jay or a Sammy. Those are still my top two guys. But then I wonder about the Roman Reigns character. Like, can he be redeemed? Because again, Jimmy presents him with this really healthy concept of family. All he's asking is, hey, let's run this together like we've been doing. You know, just respect us, just see us as equals as people, even. And Jay asking for the same thing. Jay doesn't want to fight Roman. He says to Roman's face, I need you. I need you. He says to Jimmy, I need you. So Jay in his own way saying, do not make me choose. Do not make me be an active participant in the dissolution and the fracturing of our own family. And Roman's ego is so far gone that when he's hugging Jimmy and he's closing his eyes, he's acting like he's got to do the big brother sacrifice, right? Like, oh no, I don't want to hurt him, but you do though. And that's what makes this story so fascinating is Roman is very clearly the bad guy, but he's not the bad guy like Triple H was the bad guy in Evolution, where it's like, oh no, only I can be world champion. Nobody else can succeed. I mean, I think Roman believes that on some level, even though he wants the Usos to succeed in their lane. It's just the idea of, no, you guys are betraying me. You don't understand the pressure that's on my shoulders. It has to be like this. Our family can't succeed any other way.
Right.
And yeah, like I'm just liking that with the crumbling, it's not all at once. They do want to salvage it. They do want it to heal. Roman is getting in his own way. Roman is his own worst enemy. I would even argue, bro, that Paul Heyman was relieved to see them hug. I don't even think Paul wanted to see this happen, but I think he is like in so deep. You know what I mean? Like he's terrified of Roman. He doesn't want to cross him. So if Roman decides, I'm going to war with my brothers, even if Heyman, as the wise man would want to say, my tribal chief, I don't really know if that's what, he's not going to do shit. But where I was originally going to top it off, I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on the new title? Because a lot of people are unimpressed. They're just like, it's just the old WWE title, but with gold plating instead. I personally like it. How did you feel about it?
I mean, I think the title looks cool. I don't think it's terrible. I think, you know, it's one of those things where as long as a title looks prestigious and it doesn't look butt-ass ugly, and it's not replacing a title that just looks infinitely better than it, like with the New Japan IWGP title did, I'm not going to complain about it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a linear move or like a lateral move, you know? Like I'm not going to complain about moving from one title that looks kind of similar to the new one when it's like, okay, you wanted to change the design so that you could call it a new title. That's fine. I get it. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of spirited discussion about it online. You know,
you're
how
right.
fucking
No,
the
you're
others
right because everyone has to have a take about something. Everyone has to be like on one end of the spectrum or the other about everything because that's how, you know, controversy is started and that's how discussions are had. And I'm just like, no, not everything has to be on the extreme. You don't have to have an extreme take on everything. It's okay to just kind of not care about it.
My two takes are essentially this. I'm cool with it being like the new title. Obviously, it's really not a big deal. My only other take would have been, I would have been cool too if this was like Roman's custom title, the way that Austin had the Smoking Skull Championship. If Roman had this really classy,
see, and if they were going to do that, they should have
title,
done it about, oh, I don't know, 900 days ago.
yeah, but like, yeah, if they wanted to do like a customary, you've achieved a milestone that in this era makes what Bruno Sammartino did look like child's play. Yeah, I get it. I get it 100%. Like they are really making it seem like you're never going to see anything like this again. And honestly, bro, given the magnitude of it, yeah, they may be right. In our lifetime, we may never see a reign like this again. We may never see a long form story like this again, at least in WWE. Let me be very clear.
Yeah.
Maybe in New Japan, we'll see something one day. Stardom, we could see something. God, with Stardom, I feel like we're always seeing something. You know, with WWE, though, like, yeah, this is pretty freaking extraordinary what we've borne witness to.
Yeah.
So I like it. I don't get why everybody and all these people that are pining for, why not the Winged Eagle title? Look, I think it's a beautiful title. But like that's never coming back. That had its era. Look, I was a fan of the singular undisputed title that like Triple H held after he beat Jericho, that Brock Lesnar held. That was one of my favorite WWE championships. That ain't ever coming back. It's over. It had its run.
Why can't people
cool
just seek out their nostalgia on their own time rather than trying to force nostalgia to happen to them?
Well, that's a healthier world, and unfortunately, we don't live in it.
Like, if you want to see
But
the Winged Eagle title, go watch clips from when it fucking existed.
yeah, true. Yeah,
You
that's
don't
what I
need to
do.
force the fucking company to bring back a title from the 90s just because you get fifis when you see it.
You watch, Cody will do it.
You
Cody will do it because
goddamn
he'll be
right
like,
Cody will do it because he is the exact person that wants to capitalize on those fifis because it's what keeps him relevant.
if I do this for the people, they'll love me.
Yeah,
God, he
exactly.
did that. He did that Homelander LARPing. He didn't know how close to home he was. Uh, but
He LARPs his
yeah.
Homelander every day of his goddamn life.
Oh damn. But yeah, because Cody, God, he cut a promo about Lesnar on Monday. I'm already
Did
tired of the
he? I
feud.
wouldn't know. I muted it.
Yeah, wow. I love that you're just all in right now.
No,
Um,
literally, anytime Cody or MJF or Chris Jericho is on my television, the volume is not.
yeah, there you go. Hey, that's self-care, my friend. I'm not gonna fault you
That
for
rule
that.
also applies to Charlotte Flair and Natalia, but they never really get mic time right now, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Thank goodness for that. Like
And Ronda
them.
Rousey, actually, I wanted to bring her up too. Ronda's another
Oh
one that I
yeah,
mute.
her and Shayna, the new women's tag team champions. I'm happy for Shayna, but I can't believe that she hasn't won a women's title on the main roster yet, bro. Like, wow. Like, just fucking wow. Because this is her second run with the women's tag titles, because her first was a fucking Nia. Why does WWE hate Shayna Baszler? I know that's such an irrelevant discourse, but like, fuck. But yeah, that
Remember
happened.
when she won an elimination chamber by literally eliminating everybody?
Yeah. And then she doesn't beat Becky at Mania, but it's cool because then Becky would give up the title a little while later because Asuka won Money in the Bank because she was pregnant. And yeah. Yeah, and I love me Asuka.
And
no dissing
apparently
Asuka.
Becky was petitioning hard backstage to get Shayna to beat her at Mania, and the backstage was just like not having it. They were just like, no.
So we circle back to why y'all hate Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to like go all over the map, although I am enjoying the energy of this TWitWoW interview right
Yeah, I
now.
wanted to shout out chat. We've got Javaris in chat. Lovely to see him. Alex Foster, always wonderful for him to be here. Mark, great to see you as well. My mom has been actually posting some in chat as well. It's great to see everyone.
Absolutely. Always wonderful. Always wonderful. So obviously my big opening move was the bloodline, as it always is, because it's really the one thing that I actively pay attention to. Were there any big stories this week of the World of Wrestling, just on any program that you were like, ooh, I want John's thoughts on this, or I just want to talk about this like on the show? Anything on your mind?
Brother, there's a lot. There is so much. Do we want to go succinct or like broad scope zoom out?
Bro, we can do it all. Let's broad scope this bit. What's on your mind?
Broad scope? Okay, let's talk about. Do we want to go positive or negative?
Let's do as we do a typical 12. Let's do the negative first. This way we can kind of sustain ourselves in the positive.
Chris Jericho and Adam Cole then.
Oh my God, is that? Oh wait, that's right, because they did the mixed tag thing. And
Well,
then
no,
Adam
yeah,
and Brett
dude.
won.
Not to mention the double or nothing, fucking unsanctioned match.
Dude, I only saw one spot from that match, and it was Sabu's Enforcer doing like a weird looking splash through a table. Like,
Yeah. So here's the funny thing: it's an unsanctioned match, and yet Adam Cole still managed to somehow win via ref stoppage.
oh, I heard about that too. That's right, because didn't he get like a chain wrapped around Jericho or something?
Yep.
It was like
Yeah.
blasting away on him.
Yeah. So I believe that was the second time that Jericho had been owned in this feud, and then yeah, on Wednesday, I'm pretty sure that Adam Cole and Britt beat Jericho and Saraya as well. So like, Adam's camp is undefeated against Jericho's camp at this point.
Good, maybe Jericho will stay the fuck away from him.
Dude, that's what I'm hoping, that they're just so dominant that Jericho's just like, fine, fuck you, I'm moving on to someone I can beat, you asshole.
Yeah.
You're so ungenerous, you jerk.
Yeah.
And Adam's just like, okay, cool, moving on. International title or TNT title or maybe even world title. Maybe he challenges MJF. Who would complain about that? Probably not many people.
Yeah. I've been hearing that Cole's going to be next for MJF, and I really hope Cole wins. But again, you've already known my thoughts on MJF's title reign for a long time.
MJF holding the title till 2024.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you guys all know that. I don't need to reprise that. I do think it could be an interesting program, but oh god. Um. So yeah, glad that he won that feud with Jericho. No surprise there. I really have to wonder what's left for Jericho to even do. Like, can you leave now? Maybe. Kind of missing the days when Jericho would like do a year of wrestling and then like a year of Fozzy and then a year of wrestling or whatever. I'm like, I could use a break from Chris Jericho. Um.
Unironically agree. Yeah, yeah. Having breaks from Jericho were always kind of part of what made Jericho appealing, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, because well, he felt even more special though when he came back. Like when he did
And
that, the last, yeah.
what were you
What
gonna
were you
say? The
gonna say?
last.
Well, the last time I felt really hyped about Jericho, like really hyped, was probably the 2012 promos of the
Yeah.
feud with CM Punk.
I
Like,
mean,
yeah,
the list shit was fun.
this shit was fun, but I'm talking
Honestly,
like really
dude,
hyped.
I
Like, oh
feel like the
man, yeah.
Painmaker is what ruined him for me.
Oh, that fucking era. The best thing to come out of that was the promo on Tanahashi and Okada. Happy
Takahashi.
championship,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, I feel like that whole run just ruined him for me because it was like he was doing bad shit and kind of like contributing to the ruination of New Japan for us. And then like he goes to AEW and just never gets better because it's like he immediately is like, "Oh, I'm going to have my own heel faction, but I'm going to come out to this theme music that everybody loves." And that just immediately got off to a bad start, and that exact element that we literally didn't like from the get-go has not changed. He's been a heel the entire time. I think there might have been like a brief hiccup or two where he might have been babyface at some points in his AEW run, probably when we were barely watching, if watching at all. But like this just doesn't work, and especially because there's like this whole like Jericho verse where once you get sucked into it, your momentum just dies.
Yeah. Dude, that's what's been so disheartening. And like I was even watching some old WWE stuff from him and like he was still in like pretty decent shape then and he seemed to have like a more entertaining personality and gimmick. Like I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if like excessive creative control for certain wrestlers just allows them to be overindulgent and like ruining
I
their
mean,
own
that's
their own
literally
product.
the name of the game in AEW. Literally, all of the top guys are in over, and really, I say all the top guys, but there are really there's one specific woman, Britt Baker, who is also insanely overindulgent.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's just a common theme in AEW. Like when Cody was here, he was the face of overindulgence. MJF overindulgent, FTR overindulgent. I think you could definitely make an argument that CM Punk, when he was around, and probably will be again when he's back for Collision, overindulgent. Again, Britt Baker overindulgent. Like it's a plague that is contributing to our negative feelings towards AEW for sure.
I want to address a salient question that Foster's asking because I understand why he's asking it. But doesn't Jericho put almost everyone over? To me, Foster, it's a bit more complicated because I feel like as I've gotten older, I've kind of broadened my idea a bit of what putting over means because I don't think it's just having your shoulders down on the mat for 3 seconds, right?
Yeah, he
Um,
might put them over in the sense that he will lose to them like the overall feud maybe, but he doesn't put them over in the sense that he makes them look better by the end of the feud than they looked going into it.
like Foster, in just my personal opinion, when I look at the Cole feud, it really made Cole look bad. Like that whole kendo stick segment where he's handcuffed. I thought that was one of the worst segments AEW's done in a while, at least that we've been watching, right? Because obviously, Foster, I am completely checked out, right? But I remember enough that Britt Baker was doing fucking practically death matches that are, the most sanitized version of a death match you can do on cable TV.
Yeah, like
With
I'll never
thumbtacks.
forget. Yeah, the thumbtack spot that she did in that cage match with Thunder Rosa, or it might not have even been a cage match, but I think it was the match with Thunder Rosa in Thunder Rosa's hometown that Thunder Rosa won the title from Britt in.
And here's the thing, if I don't even think it would have been that hard to make it a compelling segment beyond the kendo stick. They should have just had like all the women taking turns to beat down Britt while Jericho maybe is grabbing Cole's face and forcing him to watch. They could have really taken it to an extreme place. Maybe at times goofy, but it's pro wrestling. Like, I probably would have cut him some slack. And then Britt would have been directing all of her ire at Saraya and her gang where it should be because, they perpetrated the actual assault on Britt. It was Jericho doing the mind games on Cole, making him watch. So I feel like everybody's priorities were kind of skewed. And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, obviously there are people that watch the product more regularly than I do. Maybe they feel like the program did do good things for Cole, and that's valid. You know, that's their prerogative. For me, I don't really know if Cole needed this to be believable to step up to MJF, which I do believe is the next step. You know, so I don't know. It's weird. A lot of these guys coming from WWE that, you know, come over and they do AEW for a little bit, I feel like their stock, for me at least, kind of dips. Like I just have a tough time, you know, vibing with it. I used to love Adam Cole. Now I still do. I still respect him as a person, as a performer. But I just feel like, you know, it's kind of beneath him right now, which is why I'm curious like how an MJF program will go over, and we'll have to see how that goes. But I know Double or Nothing and more stuff go down. Do we want to talk
Well,
about poor Jamie Hayter?
I was just
Or
gonna say, since you brought up Saraya and her crew, we might as well talk about Toni Storm, the new women's champion.
oh God, you know, I want to be really careful what I say next here. I've always liked Tony enough that like I've never been a fan of Tony Storm per se,
Don't let Abel hear
but
you
I'm
say that. Oh wait, Abel is here. Hi, Abel.
son, this might be the first fight that you and I as father and son have, and I'll let you know that you are worth it. And I will still see you on the other side of this fight with a hug. But those comments about Thunder Rosa and everything else, and Thunder Rosa, which I believe her, about, you know, her mental state and the bullying. I just have to put all my cards on the table. I'm nothing if not honest, maybe too honest on this show sometimes for my own good. I was really disappointed. And see, that's the word, because I'm not going to come in here, fire and brimstone, and do like a classic John Rand or whatever. I was disappointed in Tony. We know Tony has seen some shit in pro wrestling. We know that she was one of those women that had stuff leaked without her consent. And that was really fucked up and is
Literally,
and
dude,
still
all of
is
the
fucked
women
up.
in the Outcasts have that in common. I kind of have to wonder if there's like an underlying theme there that's like part of what bonds them.
Yeah. And like, they have every right to be angry, and I don't know how they are today, how that affected them. My point being, though, is you would think an experience like that would also engender empathy about how you treat other people, especially other women. And honestly, too, again, if we're just laying it all out there, especially women that like aren't white and aren't like coming from the same experiences that you are, you would think that it would be a greater sense of solidarity. And so that's why I say I'm not even angry at Tony. I'm just disappointed because to be angry would almost to be shocked that this is what pro wrestling is. But Ash and I have known for so long that this is what pro wrestling is. So all I have left is dismay and disappointment. I just didn't want Tony to be an active participant in that. And to bring it back to the wrestling and to the kayfabe, her as women's champion, it's not surprising. It just sucks. And it's not even necessarily Tony's fault. She's just doing her job. She's got an opportunity. Of course, she's going to take it. It sucks for Jamie. She's hurt for one, so her health's the top priority, and she needs to get better, and she needs to get better on her terms. And I hope she does that, you know, when she's comfortable and as soon as possible on her terms. But I don't think they treated her as she deserved to be treated when she was healthy. I never felt like she stopped playing second fiddle to Britt. I thought that she wasn't even the primary protagonist. Like I felt like Britt was again playing second fiddle against this heel force that, like, yeah, of course they wanted the women's championship because it's one kayfabe thread in all wrestling promotions that titles equal power. They're literally doing that in the bloodline. Like Roman feels he can do whatever he wants. Why? Because he's not only the world champion, he's the most dominant world champion in the modern era. And so Jamie having that title, it should have been a thing where she's defending women's wrestling in AEW. They're making their own vision for women's wrestling. Now, granted, it would have been horseshit, but coming out of Jamie's mouth, it would have had some passion and some conviction. And she doesn't want some ex-WWE girls that just felt like they could waltz over here and set up shop to think that they can impose their vision on it. Like Jamie's going to defend that vision with everything in her. They didn't make her that kind of champion. They made it Britt's struggle. They made it Britt's arc. I feel like Jamie was done a disservice at every conceivable turn. And then she gets hurt. And then, you know, they do the thing where you get hurt. And if, you know, they'll either let you hold on to the title if it's not too serious, or they're just going to drop it to the next available person. I don't know if she would have dropped it anyway if she was healthy. Maybe she would have. And in that case, in a way, I find that even worse. My heart breaks for Jamie, man. And my heart breaks for that whole culture in that locker room for the women because Thunder was in a very dark place. We still don't know what's going to go on with her and her career. and now Tony's the women's champion, and that doesn't excite me at all. But I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, it is a little fucked up that like Tony Storm actively talks shit and then gets rewarded for it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I hadn't even thought about that until you kind of brought it up. So yeah, that is fucked up for sure. But you know, I just the thing that also is really bumming me out is that like you kind of mentioned, Jamie. It felt like Jamie didn't really have a full reign. Like it feels like Jamie's reign got shortchanged, you know? And it's like Jamie Hayter was supposed to be the fucking women's pillar. Like Jamie Hayter was supposed to be the one that you build your women's division around. Jamie was supposed to be like this sort of sturdying like the Rock, not like Dwayne Johnson the Rock, but like, you know, when you say like she's the rock that holds me down, that kind of thing, like that like sturdying force that allows you to like center yourself and like find an identity to build your division around. And they not only did they squander that, but they actively wasted it. Like they were going out of their way to be like, okay, but like no. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's you using that word. I want to latch onto that word for a second. Identity. I still feel like with all this, like the women's division doesn't have a consistent
they
identity. At
don't.
least to me. Maybe you would
No, they
disagree with
don't.
that. Um, but yeah, and Abel said I really believe Jamie wins it back in her home country all in. I'm not so sure about that, Abel. I mean, you could very well be right, bro. You could. I just don't know because it doesn't seem
Well, and
like
that's another thing too.
AEW
Because
goes
here's the
though.
thing, John. He might be right about that. That's another Tony Khan-ism to take a title off of someone in a situation where it makes no sense to take the title off of them because he wants them to win it back in their hometown.
Yeah,
That's something Tony Khan has done before. And it's nonsense and it's stupid and it's just I really don't know what other adjectives to use to describe it to really get my point across here. Maybe you could help me out here. But at the end of the day, that's a viable option because it's Tony Khan. I think more professional wrestling bookers and writers would know how absurd of an idea that is and how cheap of an idea that is and how cheap of a pop that would be. Um, and like, it's just, I hate it so much. But I also have to wonder, like, okay, well, if Jamie does win the title back in the UK, does that really mean anything? Like, is she going to end up getting more of a proper run then? Or is it just going to be another run where they just squander it again, like they just did with the current run?
yeah, yeah. It's difficult for me. We got a new listener, Liam, who is like a big AEW fan, and I don't want to be the turd in anybody's punch bowl. If they're having a good time, I see problems in this company that I can't overlook. And somebody could challenge me again because I don't watch this consistently and be like, "Oh, well, your perception is skewed because you're not seeing all this." Fair enough, but like you're a pretty reliable narrator. I know you're more dialed in than I am. We're around people in our Discord that are more
Well,
dialed in than we are.
and here's the thing, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I think, I think that one of the elements of pro wrestling that we kind of pride ourselves on most, and that we kind of one of the elements about it that kind of makes us such sort of evergreen um critics, I guess you could say,
critics. Yeah,
is talent evaluation.
yeah,
You know, like we really do go out of our way to try and separate what the performer is bringing to the table versus just the presentation that's being given to them. So like especially like in WWE, people absolutely love LA Knight because of what is written for him in his promos, because of the gimmick where he's basically just copying The Rock, because of the look, because of a bunch of stuff that isn't talent based at all. And
yeah,
like we see that and we're like, okay, well, he's over, but it's probably got a short shelf life.
yeah,
And meanwhile, like, you know, people will pop for it or whatever and stuff like that. And then we see like a Chad Gable, and it's like, okay, well, like, you know, he's a great talent, but we can still admit that like the size is the limitation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And it's a
like
shame.
it's one of
Yeah.
those things where like we try and be as sort of holistic about our talent evaluation as we can be. We try and look at the full picture. We try and look at everything that we can and all the information that we have, which is admittedly limited because we don't know what goes on backstage. We don't know who's a MAGA head until the public knows about it, like fucking Lacey Evans and Tiffany Stratton and Donald Rump, I forget her name, and like the whole crew of and fucking AEW, they're everywhere. Fucking the entire inner circle, I feel like it's just full of them. Did I say inner circle? Is that Jericho's?
Yes.
No, the
You mean on
Jericho.
JAS.
Yeah, well, really, it does come back to the inner circle though, because I'm thinking of Jericho and Hager specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what we really are trying to do here is just say like Jamie Hayter is an exceptional talent. Britt Baker is a mediocre talent. Why are you featuring the wrong one? That really is all we're trying to say here.
Yeah. And like, it's a shame that everything happened with Jamie. Now, maybe she does get it back at All In. Now, is Forbidden Door after All In? Just if I can get my chronology in
No,
order.
Forbidden Door I think is later this month. All In is in
That
August or September, I want to say.
Dude, that really sucks too, because I was looking forward to Jamie Hayter to maybe working with a Stardom talent, possibly, although I doubt it.
No, if anything, she would be working with probably like a TJPW someone or other.
Either way, though, that would have been so cool for Jamie. I would have really wanted that for her. And now that distinction, and again, I gotta be honest, it goes to Tony, which I wouldn't have minded until that Thunder Rosa stuff came out. And now I'm like, I would have been apathetic before, but now I'm kind of dejected because it's like you're rewarding somebody that did Mean Girls shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just so tired of shittiness being rewarded in pro wrestling. Like, I think that's where I am. And like, I know there are probably people that do shitty things again that we don't know about. Like you just said, there's only so much transparency that we have. There's only so much reach that we have. But when you know about it, you're obviously going to, or you should at the very least, act on it both in your thoughts and if you're capable, your actions.
Yeah.
And my thoughts have changed. Like, yeah, I used to be like, Tony exists. That's fine. Solid enough in the ring. Not really that great or a standout of a promo, but whatever. And now with this, it's like, God, fuck AEW. Can you send some kind of a positive message? I already don't like that Punk's coming back because that was one of the few things that I respected Tony for. It's like letting one of your legitimate draws walk because they publicly blasted you on a, global platform because with the internet, it can be disseminated anywhere today. And he's like, oh no. And Ace Steel's coming back with him. So it's like he completely folded. It's like, man.
It's not just that you're letting Punk back, right? Like, you gotta let his fucking lackey back too. Like, holy shit.
Dude, if I'm Punk, I'm laughing my ass off because I know now that my boss is a fucking folding chair.
Yeah.
Like, I can do whatever
Punk
I want.
basically can do anything he wants at this point and get away with it.
Yeah. He's Hulk Hogan now.
Yeah.
And that's deep down what he always wanted. And God, that makes me so bitter and so jaded because I liked 2011 Punk when he really was the Maverick speaking out against like all the ills of the culture, but he wasn't against the ills. He just wanted to be a part of them. Like, and now he got what he truly wanted. And AEW is just a company that rewards shitty behavior. And I can't say that WWE is any better. Obviously, they're not. But, like, again, that's just an indictment on the pro wrestling industry. Speaking of indictments, though, on a lower scale, since I said we do the negatives first, how the fuck do you not push Swerve when he's got his own faction and people actually seem to care about him again? And instead you give yet another successful title defense to Orange Cassidy.
Swerve is getting a TNT or International. I think International, the one that Orange Cassidy's holding. He's getting a shot at that title this coming Wednesday on Dynamite.
I hope he wins, but I gotta be honest, bro.
And
like,
I will
it's
also
not a
say,
guarantee.
with AEW now no longer having any at all non-white champions, Swerve better fucking win that thing just to get some goddamn diversity into your championship roster.
I mean, you already built Orange Cassidy as much as you can with that title, making him a kind of workhorse. I mean, honestly, at this rate,
Send him
I'm not
after
saying.
MJF.
Well, yeah, dude, you literally took the words out of my mouth because I'm going to say, like, not necessarily that I'm eager for it, but if you would put him in the ring with MJF, I'd believe it at this point, honestly. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He had what, like over 20 title defenses with that international title?
I think 27, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. So, like, but again, though, see, See, now I kind of sound like a spoiled brat because obviously I want Swerve to win, but if he just wins on Wednesday, I'm like, why couldn't you just do it at Double or Nothing and give him the pay-per-view moment?
Dude, that's what. Again, though, it's Tony Khan. That's Tony Khan shit. That's how he fucking books. It's dude. We need to start like. We need a Tony Khan bingo card or something because this dude is starting to become so like formulaic with not just like, oh, I'm gonna do like the typical wrestling things, but like even the way specifically that he diverts from the typical wrestling shit is becoming predictable.
Bro, he's gonna see all those bingo cards on the internet. He's gonna be like, I'm not gonna take any more of this fucking shit.
No, because I remember they had like the voice modulation on, so it was, I'm not gonna take any more of this fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Swerve big time, but like, goddamn. And you know what, too? Like, the dude just had an album come out. Why, again, like, Tony just doesn't know how to capitalize on shit. And granted, WWE has had a similar problem because I'll never forgive them for not going all in on a network special Sami Zayn conspiracy documentary. But I just love that talent could have things going on. And you want a piece of the pie, but you don't want to make it part of your product. It's pretty fucking wild. But yeah, hope he wins. Then whatever Orange Cassidy does,
because he won a triple threat this past Wednesday. It was him, Big Bill, and Trent Beretta.
God, look, I like Trent too, so like not to diss Trent, but you tell me that just sounds so mid. Who the fuck is Big Bill?
Big Bill Morrissey, Big Cass.
Oh, okay.
So the justification that Curtis and I kind of arrived at together, working together for why it was those three guys specifically in the triple threat, was because Trent Beretta sacrificed himself in the Battle Royal to save Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
Big Bill had the most eliminations, and Swerve made it to the end and was the last one eliminated.
Okay, well that makes sense then. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. So that's how that triple threat I think came about, and Swerve won that.
I love Abel's comment. Yeah, if a wrestler has an album, they need to win the title. Rossi knows this.
Holy shit, that's so true.
Abel, that was an S tier comment.
Although, I don't know, because it was Mel tier that had the album, and they still don't have the Goddesses title, so maybe not.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. It's Mel tier, but it's really Tamantha, kind of featuring Notsploy too, so...
You know what, though, dude? Having listened to the album, which is really more of like an EP, because it's only 3 fucking songs, but having listened to it multiple times, and it's a really easy listen because it is only 3 songs, Ploy's voice is way better than Tamantha's as a singer.
Oh, don't let her know that. Speak a little softly next time.
But she heard me.
Wow, damn, doubling down.
I don't like Ploy either, so I don't give a fuck.
And like, come for me, Cosmic Angels. I only like Ano anyway. Suck it.
Truth.
Oh god damn. But yeah, so that's what's happening with the international title. FTR is still the tag. Oh, dude, fucking FTR. Now they're okay. Actually, can I just like ask you something while I'm rubbing my temples very aggressively that I might be like wearing the skin down to the fucking skull?
John, you can ask me whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want to.
Okay, well, I'm invoking that privilege right fucking now, because what the fuck are they doing with Aubrey Edwards and Karen Jarrett that I'm hearing that they're going to have a lot more interactions together? The fuck is this 2010s TNA bullshit?
I don't know, but that sounds hilarious.
Oh, fuck.
That's so funny.
Bro, I am starting to just become everything that I
have been sus of Aubrey Edwards because she has struck me as a spotlight seeker since literally day one.
Yeah.
And now we're getting word that she's probably going to end up actually being in the ring and wrestling. Holy shit.
Against Karen fucking
That's so much worse.
God. Jenna Maraska and Charmel can finally sleep again. Fuck.
Or who was it? Shelly Martinez? Is that who it was that had that match where she literally shouted out, "Ow, my vag!"
Ow, I hurt myself. I laughed too hard. God damn it. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. No, dude, I'm so sorry because I feel like we're having productive discussions, and then like me mentioning FTR made me think about the fact that they defended against Lethal and Jarrett, and then Jarrett made me think of Karen Jarrett, and then I thought of Aubrey, and like,
Oh yeah. Okay. So
fuck.
according to Javaris, which thank you very much, Javaris, Aubrey is going to be teaming up with Mark Briscoe to take on the Jarretts, Jeff and Karen, or as Javaris put it, Jeff and his shitty wife.
I mean, no. Do we have to do that? Like,
does literally? I genuinely, I know nobody in our chat's gonna go along with this, but just has anyone just out in the wild, whether it be on Twitter or in some other Discord or in some Facebook group, any level of out in the wild that you can imagine, has anyone listening to this ever seen anyone that actually wants this or is looking forward to this?
yeah. I think at most I've seen some people that might be happy for Aubrey, but like, no, just no. I really, because again,
I love your
dude,
tone right now. By the way, as a as a doctorate myself, I gotta say, I mean, you're doing great.
No, I appreciate that because I'm gonna lay my cards on the table. I really didn't think I was gonna rant it because again, I wanted to be nicer to AEW because Liam seems cool and it's like maybe I'm too much of a crotchety old bitch, but I can't tell you now that I've remembered this how badly I want to dissociate and like just be somebody that doesn't remember this and doesn't even know what pro wrestling is sometimes. And like you talk to me, be like, John, you ready for TWitWoW? Who's John? What the fuck kind of acronym is that? What? That's that sort of thing. We've done it for years. Yeah. And then I come back just in time after they got over all this bullshit. Because no, like I know it might seem like hyperbole for me to call it 2010s TNA, but I'm standing by it. Like this seems like TNA when they were the absolute fucking dog shits to me. Putting the fucking Jarretts in a ring together, and Mark Briscoe is the only one that can fucking like. Do I really want to say this right now? I think I do. Fuck. Hasn't Mark Briscoe been through enough? Like this is what you're gonna give for him? Like after everything he's gone through lately. Like, oh hey Mark, work with Aubrey against the Jarretts. Why not just keep him on ROH? Why not just do something with him in Ring of Honor?
Why not just fucking pay him whatever he was making with Ring of Honor? Maybe give him like a little like 10-20% pay increase for pain and suffering and let him do whatever the fuck he wants. The man has been through the fucking ringer. He if he can't get bookings without his brother around because his brother literally just died a few months ago at this point, let him sit on the couch and fucking mourn. Pay for his therapy. Help this man. You're not helping him by putting him on TV with some of the worst people in the history of wrestling. Fuck.
And now, I want to be clear. If Mark, in whatever universe, and I'm not even saying that mockingly, I'm being open to the possibility, said he's okay with this, or maybe even campaigned for this, like, oh, I'll do it. Mark's a grown man. He can make his own choice. I respect that. But I also understand that sometimes people campaign for things or want things that may not be the best thing for them long term. I think there's a better way to use Mark Briscoe. Even if, like, you wanted his creative input for the tag division, because God knows that tag division, you making FTR champions doesn't solve the problem. I think it's a step in the right direction because they could still go in the ring, but it doesn't solve the problem. If you wanted him to be creative for the fucking tag division, great. If you just something. But this is what you're doing with him. I don't like it. It doesn't sit right with me. It comes off as very bottom feeding, bottom tier TV. And AEW said it was going to be an alternative. See, anytime a company says that, it's like, slow your goddamn roll. Crawl before you walk and walk before you run. And they were just like, oh, no, we ain't going to do that. And in 2023, I have to see fucking Karen Jarrett get in a ring, even if she's working in a very limited capacity. Her and Aubrey are probably going to be a part of the finish. And like, what is Aubrey going to do? Like a stunner or something? Or hey, you know what? No, I already know what she's going to do because everybody does it. She'll do a fucking Canadian Destroyer for the finish. And that's how she pins fucking Karen Jarrett. Like, fuck me. Jesus Christ.
No, dude, there's no way she's gonna do a Canadian Destroyer to Karen. She might do it to Jeff, but not to Karen. Because here's the thing, dude. The person taking the Canadian Destroyer has to be able to do a backflip and land on their head. There's no
You know
way
what? That's
Karen
fair.
can do
That's
that
fair.
shit.
Yes, but you know what though, dude, you're even more right than me because you know they're gonna have Aubrey do it to Jeff, and then the GIFs are gonna be everywhere, and they're gonna get what they want. They're gonna get the fucking viral moment of the time. It's so predictable, and honestly, at this point, it's so gross to me. Like, okay, okay. So then to circle back before I had to hijack everything
I
because
almost
I'm
have to
just I'm
wonder if they're
angry.
gonna have Aubrey do like a Froggy Bow or even like a Jay Driller in honor of Jay Briscoe.
Don't. Oh God. Yeah, you might be right. God, that fuck. Okay. So before my mental health took a nosedive and I felt the need to make that everybody's problem, I was mentioning FTR and how they retain the tag titles. Do we even know now coming out of Double or Nothing who they're going to defend the titles against next? Do
I'm
we have
not
any idea?
aware. I think Bullet Club actually, Bullet Club Gold.
Oh, that's right. Juice and fucking well, you know what? Here's to hoping they fucking win those titles. That's two other people. God.
Dude, you gotta
No.
realize,
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched it, but Bullet Club Gold had a great promo segment on Wednesday.
Well, I'm not too surprised because Jay's a great mic worker, and you know I love Juice's promos.
Juice stole the show. He was hilarious.
I fucking love Juice, man. God damn.
He was
I
so
love him
good.
so much.
He popped one of the FTR guys with a left hand of God that rivaled the punch that Triple H threw to Kurt Angle that one time when he wasn't expecting it.
You know what? I should go back and watch this. I mean, because I love Juice, and I don't want to give up on him. But between him turning heel in New Japan and now going to AEW, it's like I had such high hopes for
I
him. But
have
I'm glad
so
he's still
much
kind
fun
of
when
grateful.
Juice is on my TV, dude. He's just so fun. I love him.
Yeah, he is. Dude, I'm telling you, I can't believe that guy used to be CJ Parker,
Dude,
and now he's one of my favorite guys if I bother to watch him. Like,
you know
yeah.
what his promo this Wednesday reminded me of?
What's that?
Reminded me of that one promo that he cut on Cody Rhodes where he asked Brandy not to interfere because he mentioned that from deep down in his little baby face heart he didn't want to hit a woman.
Oh my God.
That's what it reminded me of. It gave me those vibes. He didn't actually say anything along those lines, I don't think. It was just the type of, like, the energy that he had was similar.
God, Juice, again, Juice is one of those guys that, like, if I would get my finger back on the pulse of him, it wouldn't take long at all for me to fall in love with him all over again.
Yeah.
He is so good. And Jay, I think the world of Jay. I think he's one of the most complete guys in the business right now.
Jay not doing his, like, New Japan character, I hate to say it, but he feels very generic right now at AEW.
That sucks, man. That sucks. Man.
Yeah, like he does. It doesn't feel like he is like anything special on the mic. He just kind of feels like a generic Australian guy in AEW, unfortunately.
Oh God, they massacred my boy. Oh God.
Because
Okay.
like he's not doing like the deranged, like borderline Heath Ledger Joker type delivery that he was doing in New Japan anymore at all.
Yeah, he's like mellowed out.
Completely.
I mean, when you're friends with Juice Robinson, you know, I'd be pretty happy too.
Juice is stealing the show though, for sure. At least for me.
Well, I'm glad at least somebody seems to be making a stand because I'm telling you, dude, like I get that he's a heel, but this is a rare instance, and you heard it from the horse's mouth. He is, to me, he could make so much money as a babyface, and it's ridiculous. I'm glad that he's finding his footing as a heel, and he's entertaining. But man, as a babyface, like I want to see a babyface Juice, and it doesn't have to be the same Juice in New Japan. I get it. New company, new persona. But if he could find a persona that would fit him in AEW, him interrupting MJF and cutting one of his Juice style promos on MJF, dude, I'm fucking there. You know, I don't touch AEW these days with a 30-foot goddamn pole. I don't feel safe enough. If I knew that Juice versus MJF for the world title was on the marquee, I'd watch it. I'd 100% watch just that one match. He is so good at what he does. And you know what? You kind of saw me on that promo. I'm going to go back later, maybe later tonight, maybe sometime next week. I'll watch it. I'm going to try and pay more attention to Juice because I was doing a good job of it at first, but I quickly fell off as I do in all things in AEW. But I'm just glad he's doing well. Low-key hope Bullet Club Gold win the tag titles. I really, yeah.
There were very few, let me rephrase that. I had very few complaints about the first like half hour or so of Dynamite this week. It was actually really solid because, you know, it started out with Bandito and the Lucha Bros versus the BCC. It was the BCC team consisting of basically everyone but Danielson.
Right.
Danielson was on commentary though, and really the complaint that I had about this was that Yuta pinned Bandito,
Oh, Bandito's getting done so dirty.
and the reason that I was angry about it is because Yuta didn't even cheat to beat Bandito. Like they kind of like did this thing where it was like, oh, that was shady, but it wasn't illegal because it was like, you know, Bandito had Yuta set up for a 21 plex, but then like I forget who between Moxley and Claudio helped him out of that situation. It must have been Moxley helped him out of the situation because then Claudio did an uppercut to Bandito and it set Yuta up to win, but they were still the guys that were already in the match. So it wasn't illegal. It was just like unethical, I guess. I barely even unethical, honestly. It was just like heel tactics, basically, and that's it.
Yeah, like poor sportsmanship or whatever
Right,
at best.
yeah. So, like, I feel like if you were going to have Wheeler Yuta go on this weird little streak of him pinning guys that are just way above his head, he needs to be cheating to do it. Like, it should have been a chair shot at some point by one of the BCC guys that led to Yuta pinning Bandito, not like an uppercut by Claudio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I don't want to go in on AEW yet again very aggressively, but just speaking about Bandito as an individual, like, remember when he was like setting PWG on fire? And I was thinking, man, if WWE got him and actually knew how to use him, he'd make so much fucking money.
Here it is.
Like,
I found an exact like play by play. So Bandito hit I forget what it's called, but he has like the gory special set up into the knee to the face, like almost like the GTS out of the gory special that Bandito does.
yeah,
He did that to Yuta, which Yuta then grabbed onto the middle rope, perfectly set up for the 21 plex. But Moxley held onto Yuta's hands, which allowed him to reverse the 21 plex. Then Yuta hit a running knee, and I think Claudio hit him with an uppercut, and that set up Yuta to do the fucking MMA elbows and like the crazy, like almost like the Drago Dragon Tail pinning combination type thing to get the win.
right. Okay, okay.
So yeah, like it was very like Yuta won, but he didn't do the work that led to the win. He just was happening to be the guy that got the winning pin. But again, to me, if you're gonna do that to Bandito, it should be like a chair shot or like a brass knucks or like a fucking title shot, like a shot with a championship, to the head or something. Like you need to have some kind of illegal foreign object if you're gonna have him be knocked out long enough to pin him like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Man, I see so much in Bandito. I see so much in so many pro wrestlers that I feel like this is just a bad time for them because even though there seems to be a lot of work to go around, it's not necessarily mean that the work knows how to use you.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the first match, and then we did the Bullet Club Gold promo, which was really good until Ricky Starks ran out with a chair, and it scared Bullet Club Gold off. I'd like they did. So you didn't see this at all, did you?
No.
They called FTR out, and they were 2v2 promoing with FTR. And Juice, I forget who was it. It was Dax. Juice literally fucking left-handed God with a fistful of a roll of quarters on Dax. It was incredible. Damn. It was amazing. And then Jay hit a Blade Runner on Cash. And then I think Juice even hit like his finisher, like the headlock driver looking thing on Dax as well. And then those two guys are clearly laid out, and Ricky Starks shows up with a chair, and Bullet Club Gold just runs away. Like they're scared of Ricky Starks with a chair.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, you guys have these dudes laid out. They're neutralized. It's 2v1. What are you running away for?
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. What else happened?
There was that triple threat for the that ended up, without even being announced about it, but it ended up being a TNT or an international championship #1 contenders match that Swerve won, so that's cool. Oh yeah, Chris Statlander is our new TBS Women's Champion.
That's right. That was one of the big stories coming out of Double or Nothing,
yes.
I like Statlander, but I feel like the way they booked that was a disservice to both Statlander and Jade. Like, I wish it could have gotten a proper build up, video pack, like all that stuff, and then Statlander gets the win.
I can
I also
understand why you would say it was a disservice to Statlander, but I think that they did the exact correct thing to protect Jade.
that's Yeah, I guess that's fair because I don't know how I'd feel. And the only reason I paused and I hesitated was I was thinking, like, how okay would I be and like the internet sphere be if they did the proper match like I was asking for, but say Statlander won by like a roll up or a crack? Because that's the AEW style too. You could eat like 5 big impact maneuvers, kick out, kick out, kick out. Oh no, a roll up, my weakness, 3 count, and that's it. But so like I wouldn't have liked that either. So maybe you're right on that front. I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, like the match with Taya went, I think, like 8 minutes or so, and it was like a grueling match. You know, Taya hit Flight of the Valkyries on Jade, and Jade actually managed to kick out of that, and then Jade hit Jaded for the win, and then Chris came out and hit her with, oh, I forget Chris's finisher name, the Cradle Tombstone that she hits. Fuck, it's an Alien reference because of course it is. I don't remember. Yeah. It doesn't matter. She hits her with the Cradle Tombstone and gets the win off of that. So, like, the reason that I think it protects Jade perfectly is because she had just been hit by a finisher from someone else that she kicked out of. So that was the second major finisher that she got hit by. So her getting pinned by that makes sense because up until this point, she had literally kicked out of everybody's finisher, but she'd never been hit by 2.
Yeah.
So it does still protect her to a pretty extreme degree, in my opinion. And it's like, not only do we protect her to the sense that, like, we kind of still have the belief that she can kick out of anyone's finisher one time. Like, I'm sure that when we get the rematch between Chris and Jade, Jade kicks out of that Cradle Tombstone one time. It's just a matter of whether Chris can follow up and beat her after that. But, like, you know, it was the second finisher that had been hit on her, and you know, there's only so much you can do. Plus, we end the streak in, I think, like, a smart way, because I think there are a lot of really easy ways to fumble a streak, and I think they handled the ending of the streak really well, honestly.
That's right, because we've even kind of talked about not even just streaks, but more generally, like, really dominant performers. Like, we've been talking lately with Roman, and I'm loving the Bloodline storyline, but there is always a looming question of how do you end it? It was a question with Asuka. How do you end it? And more often than not, the ending isn't what you would have liked it to have been, either because of injury or whatever. So at the very least, what I can say is at least they had an end where Jade was healthy and she could participate.
Yeah.
Because if, God forbid, she would have gotten injured at any point in this and would have had to vacate the title, well, then that's kind of deflationary, because it's like nobody really gets the payoff here. I'm still upset about that to this day with Asuka's NXT Women's title run, because then they kept the streak going for fucking Charlotte to end it, and I feel like that was an abysmal way to handle it.
Yeah.
So I can definitely be sympathetic to your talking points here. Just thinking about precedent. I'm still hoping that they handle Roman Reigns is right, but I'm definitely on the cynical side that they're just going to run back him and Cody at Mania 40. So Statlander is a great way to go. And it keeps the TBS title, I think, is something valuable. Now, let me ask you this, though, about Jade. You think she goes after and wins the actual AEW Women's title this year? Because I could see them putting that rocket on her.
This year, no. Next year, definitely.
Okay.
I think Jade is in 2024 AEW Women's Champion for sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I wanted to take your temperature on that because that was more my mind immediately went. It's like, okay, she dropped the TBS one. She got that over as much as she could. Now Statlander's TBS champion. Now see, it's going to be interesting to see the TBS championship lineage now going forward, because no disrespect to Statlander, again, I like her. I think she's immensely talented. My question is, how much does AEW value her? What is her reign going to look like, and who is she going to put over?
Yeah.
Because, Jade had the whole attraction with the streak going. Statlander doesn't have that. So how is this title reign going to look different from Jade?
Well, to be fair, Statlander already had a title defense on Dynamite this fucking week.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Who was it against?
Nyla Rose.
That's right.
And it was really well done, because Statlander attempted the Cradle Tombstone multiple times, could not lift Nyla for it, so she finished her with a fucking 450 off the top rope.
Damn. See, Stylander's got the goods, man, in the
Dude,
ring
I'm telling
especially.
you,
Like,
yeah, Statlander is really really good. I am on board
yeah,
the Chris Statlander train for sure.
as you should be. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. Well, I think the rematch should be good. I hope it gets good billing on whatever card it takes place on between Jade and Statlander. I think it could be, pretty solid because Jade is still green, but I'll say from what I've seen of her in the ring, she's holding her own in there, man. She's not really like shitting the bed from what I've heard. So yeah, I'm excited for that rematch.
Yeah, it seems like AEW's All In pay per view will actually be replacing All Out this year. So there's not going to be an All Out. So All In is just the pay per view that would have been All Out now.
Yeah.
It's basically August 27th, by the way. That's the Wembley show.
Okay. Okay. So I actually got a good bit of time then. We'll have to see how AEW builds this up.
Yeah. June 25th is Forbidden Door.
Oh, okay. So that's a little over 3 weeks away.
And
Okay.
they did nothing to build to that on this week's show, by the way. That's kind of weird to me.
That is a bit weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, oh, dude, holy shit. There was, oh my god, there's a lot to talk about, actually. So, Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita came out, and you know the kind of heat that one segment where Kevin Owens and Elias were doing their thing in, I think it was Seattle, Washington.
Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah. Don Callis has maybe even more heat than that, honestly.
Bro, I actually can connect with you on this more substantively than I have the last few segments because I saw the brief Twitter clip of Don Callis speaking a little bit. So maybe not Don Callis' whole promo, but enough. And then Takeshita's brief promo in Japanese and a little bit of English sprinkled in.
Yeah.
The heat, I got to give AEW credit on that. I'll give them credit where credit's due. That's heat. That's fucking heat. I still don't know how I feel about Takeshita being heel. I feel more negative than positive, truthfully. But if it's working, then you just got to make sure you take care of the guy,
bro,
and it pays off right.
Straight up, fuck the cold as ice Wardlow Christian Cage Luchasaurus feud. End that shit as soon as you can and put that TNT title on Takeshita right the fuck now.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because if you're not striking on this, then I keep using the word disservice. You're doing a disservice to the heat that Takeshita's getting by sacrificing his babyface, which I know hurt a lot of people, but in a good way. Like, it's supposed to hurt when a babyface you liked goes to the dark side.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, dude, this hurt people.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it online. I think people feel like, again, in that playful kayfabe sense, they feel betrayed. And so when you get that reaction, you capitalize, and it's like, oh, you may feel betrayed, but look, I got a title. I never got a title when I cared about what you people thought.
Exactly.
But now that I care about me, look at me winning. Yes. I guess that just sucks for you.
Yeah.
And dude,
that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, yeah, you need to get that TNT title on Takeshita like yesterday, because you can have Wardlow beat Luchasaurus, and then immediately Takeshita attacks Wardlow, beats the shit out of him, challenges him for the title, and wins it first try. With Callis's help, have Callis rub fucking cayenne pepper in Arn Anderson's eyes. I don't give a fuck. Do what you need to do to give Wardlow whatever credibility you feel like he deserves, but Takeshita needs to win that goddamn thing first try, and preferably within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I'll give AEW credit on this too. First of all, I agree with you. Just to acknowledge that I heard what you said. Second of all, I got to give AEW credit on this too. The brief clip that I saw, man, and we've been saying this, we're in 2023. Foreign wrestlers, whether you're foreign in the sense of like you're a gaijin from America or wherever to Japan, or you're just coming to America from Japan or wherever. Takeshita in a fucking suit, speaking in his native language, and it's not this anti-American bullshit, but he actually says, I am going to surpass Kenny fucking Omega. Dude, that is some good fucking wine I'm drinking. God damn. That's the shit I fucking want. That's what, those types of heels should be in 2023. I don't need another anti-American foreign heel, especially one that was as beloved as Takeshita. I like the direction they're going with him. He's gunning for Kenny. In fact, my only concern is because I know the moment Ibushi comes in, it's going to overshadow everything and whatever. I want them to take good enough care of Takeshita. I agree with you wholeheartedly about the TNT title. Another thing for me personally, I want them to build to a Takeshita Omega pay-per-view bout. And I want them to build it carefully, and I want them to build it in a way that Takeshita doesn't look like a fucking chump. because I know the match is gonna fucking slap. I've seen Takeshita enough in the ring that I'm like, you put him in as a heel against Kenny, it's gonna be good stuff. It's
Give that
gonna be
match
good.
25 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And apparently, according to Foster, that Ibushi literally called Takeshita an imitation. Like, don't take that lying down. Don't let Takeshita just eat that. Like, have him be cowardly if you need to. Have him be a heel, of course. Like, he shouldn't be like spirited and valor or anything like that. But like, have him assert himself because the dude, he looks so legit. When I talked about like Andrade in a suit with championship gold and Zelina by his side, and and Montez, if him and Bianca ever do the heel power trip type thing, I love those types of heels because unlike a Triple H that did it for so many years, it feels believable and it doesn't feel like insecurity. Takeshita feels very secure in himself. He said again, I'm going to surpass Kenny without missing a beat, and that crowd was giving it to him. Already, this dude is a heel, knows how to cut a better promo than Charlotte Flair, and he did it primarily like 95% in Japanese. Because I guarantee you put a Charlotte or somebody like a Charlotte in a crowd like that with that kind of heat, you break their concentration like that.
Oh yeah, they would spend more
Yeah.
time basically scolding the crowd than cutting their promo.
Exactly. And Takeshita, no, man, he knew the assignment and he did it
Yep.
expertly. So
Yep.
honestly, of all that I personally, and I know it wasn't much, but all that I personally saw of AEW this week, that was the fucking highlight. And you know how sour I was that they were going to turn Takeshita heel, and I still kind of am, admittedly. But if you're going to get results like this, and you do right by those results, which you and I just got done saying, I'll get over it. I'll get over it, and I'll be on board with it. God damn, that heat. That, we've been kind of having this talk like Dominic Mysterio, the heat that he's getting. What are they going to do with it? Can he sustain it without Judgment Day? This kind of heat, though, feels different because it feels like it's genuinely earned based on the moves that they're making, and Takeshita's able to carry it. This is really nice.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Yep. So then we got Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin beating the Gates of Agony. But, bro, the Gates of Agony are fucking awesome. If you get a chance to watch this match, even if you just wait until it feels like it's about to end, like you just get that feeling, like you just know that Darby Allin's about to fucking win the match for the team because he did end up getting the winning pin, and you tune out at that point, the match itself is great because the Gates of Agony are badasses, and they beat the fuck out of OC and Allin here.
Damn. I'll have to check that out. I think, did I see a little bit of it actually? I feel like I watched something, but to be honest, I don't even recall it.
Dude,
So
there was this one moment, I think it was Toa Leon, or no, it was Khan. It was Bishop Khan, I want to say, who literally just grabbed Darby, and he was standing on the outside of the ring, and he was doing like Irish whips basically, back and forth, slamming Darby into the ring apron and the ring barricade, and like the barricade separating them from the crowd, back and forth like 6+ times. It was brutal, and then he fucking whipped him into the barricade, and it ended up sending out over the barricade. It was insanely cool.
Damn, man, that's awesome.
I love these guys. I want to see these guys more. And dude, here's the thing: these guys are part of Swerve's faction. They're part of that group with Brian Cage.
Bro, keep building those guys up. If FTR is able to get Bass Bullet Club Gold, put those guys in the ring for the titles.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like, it'd be a good spot for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe after the match, Brian Cage and that's another thing that I loved about this segment, dude. As the match was about to start, Prince Nana, Swerve, and Cage all came out to the top of the ramp. Brian Cage brought a chair out, and it looked like he was going to be like ready to like use it on someone, but he, just being the underboss, basically unfolded it and set it up so that Swerve could have a seat at the top of the ramp.
That's dope.
I love
That's
it.
dope.
Yes. And then after the match was over, all three of them walked down to the ring, and it looked like they were going to beat some ass, but then fucking Sting came out and ruined it.
Oh, he's so old, and he literally got in the way.
Yeah, he did.
Although, I'll be honest, again, that little bit of Sabu that I saw at Double or Nothing, Sting's done better spots than Sabu, and he's done them more regularly, probably.
Yeah.
That's really something. So, anything else from AEW to talk about?
No, not Dynamite. That's it. Dude, that actually covered the entire show because after that was the TBS Championship, and then the main event was, Jericho and Saraya versus Adam and Britt. That's the whole show, believe it or not. It was a good Dynamite this week, man. I'm telling you, there was definitely flaws. Like, it wasn't a great, amazing show, but like it was one of the best episodes of Dynamite that I have seen probably this year, honestly, and maybe even in quite a few months.
further proof that when wrestling's positive, we don't dwell on it nearly as long. I feel like that's the quickest we've got through an AEW segment on TWitWoW in review. Should we touch on NXT Battleground?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Battleground. So, unfortunately, Tiffany Stratton is your new NXT Women's Champion.
You know what? I've been hearing a lot about that. And I've been hearing a lot about her promo. I kind of want to do another 2x speed react thing for y'all because I
Oh
haven't
my,
watched that promo.
yes,
Uh,
please do.
okay, yeah. So let's check that out. Just give me a second, everybody. All right. John gonna suffer for his fans because he loves them all. Yeah. Great. We're all gonna be great. We're all
I'm
gonna be
loving the
great.
chat right now too, because Javaris mentioned, because we were in a call on Wednesday, and he mentioned how he and I were marking out for Gates of Agony and how cool they were, and then Super Blue comes in with AEW doing something right with a bunch of laughing faces.
Yeah, nice,
And Javaris
nice.
did correct me. Apparently, it was Toa Leona that did the Irish whips to Darby on the outside. Yeah, Alex Foster jumping the gun a little bit with NXT.
Yeah, I think he knew it was coming. He's like, "Come on, guys, let's talk about it." I just have to pull it up online. I couldn't find it with just a general YouTube search, so I'm gonna have to go on WWE's channel and
No,
pull it
dude,
up.
you don't have to go anywhere. It's in the Discord. I posted it for everyone to see.
Oh, nice. How far am I gonna have to scroll up though, or down? Or is it like a recent message?
Here, let me ping you.
Yeah, ping me again.
There,
Yeah,
boom, done.
excellent. Okay, everyone, gonna watch this.
Oh God.
Never say I don't love you, people. All right,
I appreciate your suffering with us.
let me put it at 2x speed because I'm not about to like waste all this time on this episode.
How
So
long is the video?
7 minutes 10 seconds. So at
Holy
2x speed, it won't take that
shit.
long. Okay. Oh, I gotta unmute this. That's right. Okay, hold on. So let me pause real quick. That's the one weird thing I hate about Google is you can't like mute an individual tab. Like it just mutes
Dude, I
every tab.
know. I hate that you have to mute the entire site. I want to be able to mute individual tabs again. You used to be able to do that, you know.
Yeah, I know. It was a simpler time, a better time. Okay, here we go. Pictures of her. That's not too surprising.
No, yeah, no. The problem doesn't really arise until she gets a mic in her hand, which is like around the minute mark.
All right, I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit to save even more time. Okay. Okay.
Well, what are you saying okay about?
Well, just what she said. She's coming off as very uncomfortable almost. Just seems very generic to me. Oh no, you're inviting out the locker room. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, very generic heel heat there. This just is coming off very forced and very awkward.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so bad.
In a way, I kind like. Okay, I'm gonna finish and then I'll get my thoughts here. Tiffany Epiphany. Wow, that's a bit cringe. Oh god, they're doing the thing where she's putting her name on everything. The Tiffy title. Oh god, that's bad. That's bad. Repeating. Tiffy time. Oh my god. I'd actually prefer Tam time. Yeah, okay. Now they're just all kind of jumping her. Okay. So now that the problem's actually over, does she say anything else? Okay, no, then they cut to backstage and stuff. Okay, that's all pointless. All right. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I never thought I'd say this about a talent, especially one that I'm not exactly thrilled about. I actually felt bad for Tiffany there. Like, she came off really uncomfortable to me. Like, I don't know if she was like overwhelmed that this is like her first big thing since winning the title. I hate the whole like, let me just do an abbreviation of my name, like Tiffy Time, Tiffabration, stuff like that. Like that, oh, that just like I get with her gimmick being like daddy's girl, like girl in the valley type thing. Like I guess that works, but like there's just no sincerity to it, you know? I think if there's anything that Charlotte's got going on for her, am I about to pay this woman anything close to a compliment? I think she believes the bullshit she says. And like we hate it because she's deluded, because she has no talent. But at least the sincerity takes her somewhere. I don't believe what Tiffany's saying because I don't believe that she believes it. I think that came off very much like she's regurgitating lines she was given, that she's not really embodying the character, and the things that she tries to do with it. It's God, again, I feel bad for her actually. That looked so uncomfortable, dude.
Dude, not only is she regurgitating lines that she was given, but it feels like she's repeating herself a lot too. Like she's
Yes.
saying the same thing, slightly reworded over and over again. Like she does the whole list of Hall of Famers, right? Where she talks about, Bailey and Asuka, and she mentions Rhea Ripley and stuff. And then she says, "Oh, the list goes on, and tonight I'm going to show everybody what it means to be a true champion." But then, literally, the next line that she says is, "And honestly, when I think of what a champion is, it is me." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you saying?"
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like I missed some of that because obviously it's on two times speed and I did want to save time. But yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. Like, it just there's no confidence in there.
And then the literal
Yeah.
next line is, "Nobody in that locker room can do what I do, and when I look in the mirror, I think to myself, I am the epitome of what a true WWE superstar is." Like, what the fuck?
Not just any
Who wrote
not just
this?
any epitome. Not just any epitome, my friend, the Tiffany epitome. Like, just dude, that poor woman. She is in over her head. Oh my god. Like, yeah, dude, like, I'm being real with you. This isn't a bit, this isn't me, like, experimenting with a new form of douchebag. Like, genuinely, I don't even want to, like, go hard in the paint because she already did herself in. Like, kind of reminds me of that one Family Guy episode where, like, I don't know if you remember that one child character, Olivia, that would always have a few episodes with Stewie. They were both, like, wanted to make it in Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah.
And she sees him, and, like, he is down bad. Like, his life is shit. And she goes back to the limousine, and the driver's like, "Did you let him have it?" And she's just like, "He let himself have it." And that's kind of how I feel. Like I'm the Olivia in this situation. Did you really ran on Tiffany? No, she ran it on herself. Like it's just so bad. Just so bad.
And at one point, even she's like, after like she announces everyone to come out and they're all out there, she's like something about along the lines of like, "To be honest, as everyone is out here, I can't think to myself that I'm gonna be champion for a really long time." And like, there's the whole thing about, I might as well retire as champion. Nobody can sit with me. And it's like, you're like mixing metaphors or something. Like, you go from "I might as well retire to champion" to like all of a sudden now we're going Mean Girls, "Nobody can sit with me," as opposed to like "nobody's on my level," which is a completely different type of way of saying "nobody can sit with me." Like, it's so bad, it literally makes my skin crawl. It's this, now you understand though why this is my worst promo of the year. Like, I can't imagine anything being worse than this.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna be honest. Your energy really is the most unironically "what are you doing" energy, and it's never been more appropriate. I just picture you watching this in the back. She comes to the back. "What are you doing? What was that?" And I got nervous. "Tiffany, honey, no. You're dropping that title next week. This is a mistake. Everything was a
It was
mistake."
so bad.
Oh, dude, that poor. Remember when that division was actually the high point of NXT as a product?
Dude, there's an argument to be made that it was still this week despite that, because of the opener.
Oh yeah, what was the opener this week?
Gigi Dolan versus JC Jane in a weaponized steel cage match.
That's right, and I was surprised because you said the GG ended up winning, but I actually heard good things about that match if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, Gigi literally choke slammed JC through a table to win the match.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool.
We are NXT.
I almost have like negative feelings about it because it feels like Gigi is peaking at the wrong time. Like she should be like this all should have happened like a month ago so that she could have won the title instead of Tiffany.
Yeah.
But now like
Yeah.
Tiffany just won the title, so Gigi is like she just won this huge blow off match, which is usually what's going to send her into a title shot, which is bad because she's probably not going to win it.
Well, again, Ashton, she's going to be champion for a long, long time. She might as well retire as champion.
Nobody can sit with her.
God, God. Can I just take this time and just say how thankful we should all be that Mariah May exists?
Dude,
Like,
it made me appreciate Mariah so much more.
she was like, look, I already loved you, but I still feel the need to say I am so sorry.
Sorry I
You're
judged
great.
you because you look similar to these women.
You're actually talented. I'll never do it again. Please stop doing this to me. Oh God. Yeah, dude, that was one of the most awkward promos I've ever like. I'm not even kidding when I tell you when NXT talent used to talk about Dusty hosting the promo class, that's something I would expect to hear in Dusty's promo class. And like I'm not even trying to
Dude,
be mean, but like
oh
yeah.
my god, you're so right.
Like, yeah, no, like, I'm not even trying to be mean when I say that's something I would expect to hear in a promo class,
Well,
and then
because
some veteran,
it feels
yeah,
like a beta test. It doesn't feel like a finished product.
yeah, yeah, and then the veteran would be like, okay, I like that you're taking chances with like doing variations on your name and mixing it with words and stuff, but I don't know, maybe let's pull that back. Let's rework this a bit. Like
Yeah.
again, you can even like I'm not trying to be. It was just so bad. Like this is not what an NXT Women's Champion should be. Because here's the thing, Tiffany, I get what she was going for when you mention other people. You know who else used to mention other people in their promos at least a time or two? Sasha Banks. And she could back it up though was the thing. You don't mention other people with that kind of promo because you know what you end up doing? You make me think about those people and what the title used to be. And you make me miss that. And then you kind of make me dread this. Because Bailey, Asuka, Rhea, all great champions and all varying levels of promo skill, but none even close to this. Like not a one. So yeah, like poor Tiffany, man. That's rough. And I know she's got a strong fan base, like especially online. I know she'll be okay. I know these criticisms don't amount to anything. But for me, that used to love NXT, I remember the pay-per-view reviews and reactions that we used to give, and we used to say, like, man, NXT is cooking, these takeovers kick fucking ass. It's such a shame, man. God damn. Like
Who
this is
would you
where the
say the
women's division
best
is.
promo in NXT's women's division history would be?
The best promo in the women's division's history, I would say either Sasha immediately comes to mind because I did enjoy her mic work then. Because I, for whatever reason, I feel like she got worse on the main roster, but maybe I rose-colored glasses and all that. I don't know. But then beyond that, that's actually a good question. I would honestly put the Iconics up there in a way. I feel like they were pretty good, pretty funny. Um, maybe Io when she first came in. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have anybody in mind?
Really, the two names that come to my mind were Sasha and Becky.
Becky was great too. I really that one promo she had, I didn't come to take part, I came to take over. That just yeah, that was like her promo. I feel like that I'm always gonna remember for.
Summer Rae, another name that comes to mind.
Dude, Summer Rae was even better than what I just watched. And I never really associated Summer with like a strong talker. But like
Oh, and I was just saying that she was like up there as far as best promos in NXT's women's division history.
yeah, like
I thought she was great.
yeah. Well, I'm even trying to remember because obviously Get It Together Sasha, like iconic line. But even Summer, who I've never associated as like great at anything, like it really says something that I could look at that Tiffany Stratton promo and be like, if we turn back the clock and we made an NXT where Summer Rae was, I was about to say Summer Moon because Super Blue said Ember Moon in the chat. But if we made Summer Rae NXT Women's Champion, that would feel more comfortable to me than this.
Shayna was always a good promo. That's a good one. Good
Yeah.
shot by Super Blue.
Tab, snap, or nap. I love that. I love that. And we went from that to Tiffany Epiphany, or Tiffany Epitome. Oh
No,
my
it was
god.
Epiphany. It was Epiphany in the promo.
Oh god. Oh god, I'm remembering it. Oh god. I need to give my brain a good scrubbing after this.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah, that happened. The women, Gigi and JC had their match. That was really good.
We know Mello retained against Braun at Battleground, and now Baron Corbin's the next challenger. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, that was because in the main event, of the show was an NXT Heritage Cup. Or no, actually, was it? I don't think it was an actual Heritage Cup match. I think it was just a match, like a non-title match, where Dar was trying to immediately insert himself into contendership for the NXT Championship. But it was Noam Dar versus Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo won, but then Baron Corbin comes in and hits him with a end of days, and so yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, Baron's very safe in the ring, and his stuff looks good. Still has never been a great promo though. Maybe he'll find himself in NXT again. Fucking doubt it. Really, again, I know the big thing that Foster especially, and I think a few others have mentioned in chat, Ali in NXT. I want him to win that NA title soon-ish. I still think Wes is having a great run, but I don't think NXT is ready
Did
for him
you
to drop
see
again.
the segment where Ali showed up in NXT?
No, was it received well? Did the crowd pop?
Oh, brother, it was huge. It was like Sandman and ECW type pop. Yeah, it was massive.
Damn, I love that for him.
Yeah,
I love that for him.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
It was a tag match between the Dyad, aka Grizzled Young Vets, and Wesley and Tyler Bate were the team that they were facing, and they were doing like a 2v2 like stare down like in the middle of the match, and it was like a stalemate, and then Ali showed up at the top of a staircase in the crowd, and the fans lost their fucking minds, and the Tyler Bate was the first one to look up and like make a kind of a big deal out of Ali being there and really notice him, and then everyone did in the ring. Like it was him, then Wes, then the Dyad turned around and looked as well, and everyone was looking at him, and the crowd was losing their fucking minds. And then he started kind of slowly doing like the slow walk down the stairs, and eventually the match was able to finish out. And when it did, Wes and Bate won. It was Tyler hitting a Tyler Driver 97. I don't know names, but I think it was on. God, I'm even forgetting their real names from GYV now. John, help me
James
out.
Drake. We'll use the
one.
GYV
Zach,
names.
Right? Zach Gibson.
Yeah, Zach Gibson.
I'm pretty sure it was on Zach Gibson. Do you know Jagger Reed versus Rip Fowler? Do you know which one's which?
I thought Fowler was Gibson.
Okay, then it would have been on James Drake. Okay.
I'd be wrong though.
Anyway,
but, yeah.
So yeah, Wes and Tyler do win. They do end up getting that dub.
I low key miss Styler, but it's been a long time.
They're buds backstage, but there are like a lot of people that think that Tyler is going to end up turning on Wes to try and take his North American title from him.
Well, I think he was due for a heel run. I feel like he's been babyface for a long time, so I could maybe get behind that.
Do you know who Ava Rain, I think it is? Do you know who she is?
Yeah, she's with Schism, right, or whatever.
Yeah, but do you know like who she is though?
Isn't she like the daughter of the Rock or something?
Correct. That is correct. Yes. She she like kind of showed up during the match. I don't think she actually did anything during the match, but after the match, Ivy Nile came out to beat her up. They have a feud going on. The Creed brothers came out and ended up in a fight out on the outside with the Dyad. Joe Gacy showed up to attack Wes Lee. Ali came in to save Wes Lee and got into it with Gacy. Fans were losing their fucking minds over Ali, and eventually we get to the sort of ending scene of Ali raising Wes and Tyler's hands up in the middle of the ring.
Nice. If I'm NXT, one thing I'm doing to make Ali stand out, those promos that he used to upload to social media, I'm putting those on NXT TV in between him wrestling. Like, if he's not wrestling for a week, I let him do, like, some kind of... Especially if, I should be clear, because you don't want to, like, exhaust the value of him. If he's in a program, but he's not wrestling that week, you air cinematic promos. Keep that shit going.
Yeah, I love
that. Dude has got a real artistic eye. Like, let him cook. Let him cook is my big note for Ali. You let him cook. screw the NA title. If he's getting those kinds of reactions, you could put him in the ring with Melo. I guarantee you people would probably want Ali to win. And Melo's super over. That's saying something. But like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So there was this whole backstage thing this week on NXT where Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak were like special guest speakers for Chase U.
Interesting.
And they really went out of their way to pick on Thea Hale.
Interesting.
Who we know that Alex is a big fan of, so I'm sorry, Alex, that Thea got picked on this week. But yeah, they really went after her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could lead to character progression for her, though, so we'll see.
Well, I mean, Thea was in the ring. She gave a forearm to Tiffany Stratton, right? So, like...
She was, yeah. She was one of the women that ended up in the ring, yes.
Like, I guess for me, and it's weird for me to say this because, I don't watch NXT, but, like, I've known of Chase U long enough. I'm still waiting for that group, that concept, to get a big payoff, whether it's like they finally win a title so that Chase feels vindicated as, like, a wrestling professor of sorts or something. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Chase ever won the NA title at some point. Maybe Thea gets a women's title. Maybe two people together from Chase U get the tag titles. Just something to be like, you treat them like a joke, but the teachings work. And then he could display the titles in the classroom while he's doing his promos and stuff. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. So we'll have to see what happens with them. Anything else worth noting from NXT?
Do you know about Noam Dar's new faction?
Not his new faction, no. I didn't know he had a faction.
It's literally Noam Dar is the cool kid. He hangs out with a bunch of black people. It's literally Noam Dar, Oro Mensa, and two black women, Jakara Jackson, who I like a lot, and Lash Legend is the other one. Lash, you've known about because she was around when we were still watching NXT actively. She's not that great at talking. Jakara Jackson can fucking talk, bro. She has charisma. I like her a lot.
I'll have to check her out.
She's cool as hell. I want to see her wrestle. I've never seen her wrestle before, but if she can wrestle even half as good as she can cut a promo, she's a prospect to watch for sure.
All right. Well,
let me actually look her up real quick because I want to know how old she is. She's 28. I wonder if she has wrestling experience before WWE. I bet she does. No, she doesn't. She's one of these fresh new recruits for NXT 2.0.
Oh, wow. That's pretty wild. Good
yeah, very surprising because she's damn good. So then we got fucking Joe Coffey versus one of fucking Tony D's guys. I didn't give a fuck about this, didn't watch it. Cora Jade versus Ivy Nile. Honestly, didn't watch that either, but Cora won, so that's cool. I do like Cora. I like Ivy too, but she doesn't feel like as finished of a product as Cora.
Right.
And then, the main event was Melo versus Dar, and it was cool. Melo retained, or well, didn't retain. It wasn't a title match. Melo won, and then, Corbin laid him out afterwards. So that was NXT.
Bro.
Do you want to talk more about Battleground, actually? We didn't really talk too much about that.
Sure, yeah, we can circle back to that.
What were you going to say, though?
No, well, I could have said it when we're covering Battleground, but it's like funny that you go from Braun, who I know isn't as experienced as Baron, but Braun he seems so menacing right now. Dude, I'm telling you, he's the best spear in the business right now. That spear, man. I keep watching him spear people, and I'm like, damn, that's some like prime Goldberg shit to me. And you go from that to a guy that we've seen Corbin. Do I even need to say it? Like, as a character, like, Corbin, there's no menace.
Baron Corbin is like, oh, God. It's weird because he's like 6'6", like he's everything that Vince McMahon wants in a wrestler, but he's such a limp noodle.
He's so bald and not in a hot way. Like, it's so awkward. And like,
he's like Lex Luthor without the super intelligence.
He lost to Grimes in like 6 seconds. Like, dude, if
Lex,
I'm Melo,
he's like Lex Luthor if Lex Luthor was Elon Musk.
Bro, I feel like Baron already has been kind of buried in a way. So honestly, if I'm NXT, when you do the title match, the story should really be, oh, when I'm face to face with you, you can't do shit. And Melo beats him real quick too. Because the only reason he got that offense is because Melo just had a match and he didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Like, punk him out. Because he is nowhere near on Braun's level. And again, that's insane for me to say because one is still a bit greener than the other. Like, Baron is seasoned at this point. And he does, like, a lot of the fundamentals really well.
Yeah.
But, like, as a character, doesn't have even close to the
Bro,
menace,
you
the
know who
intimidation, or
Corbin
whatever.
reminds me of?
Yeah, who?
Darren Cross.
Oh my god.
He does. He does. He's exactly like him.
God damn it. Uh,
For those of you that don't know who Darren Cross is, this is an Ant-Man reference from the Marvel movies. So if you don't watch Marvel movies, you're not gonna know who the fuck I'm talking about. Sorry about that.
fucking Modok. Alright. Um,
It's never
God damn
too late to be not a dick.
it. Giant head ass. Alright,
Literally giant head and ass.
with Battleground, let's wrap this up.
Let's talk about
what do you wanna
Battleground.
do?
Yeah, let's talk about
Yeah.
Battleground.
Yeah, what else happened on there?
Um,
Because again, obviously we know that Mel will retain against Braun. So let me ask you real quick though, just as a jumping off point, since we're already kind of swimming in that terrain, does Braun get called up now? Or like, what do you
dude.
think they
From
play
what I
now?
understand, Braun gets called up after SummerSlam.
Oh, so we still gotta wait a bit.
We got like
Damn.
a couple months and a few more weeks. Yeah.
You know what? They're just delaying the inevitable. That's cool. That's cool. So what do you think he does in between then?
Dude,
Do
I
they
have
have any
no
like,
clue. We didn't see him on this episode of NXT at all.
bro? Honestly, give him the time off. Have him rest up. Have him come be absolute 100% after
Start
SummerSlam.
airing
Yeah,
vignettes. We haven't gotten vignettes in so long. Air
Yeah.
Braun Breaker vignettes, please. Give him,
Yeah, air
give him a
vignettes.
character, please.
Air vignettes and give a date. I dare you to have the
Oh.
balls to actually put when he's gonna debut.
Oh God.
Wow, I'm gonna be honest. I love you. I'm here for you. But that reaction was a little strong.
I may have gone slightly cross-eyed in that process on this.
Wow, the vinegar definitely stroked. Jesus Christ.
Fully stroked. Bro, I'm just saying, dude, even if you don't want to give him like a new character and just still have him be himself, have like talking head interviews where people that either know him personally, like I don't know his father and uncle, talk about his like life growing up, and then give like talking head interviews from people that have faced him already in NXT, talk about what it's like to be in the ring with him. But build this motherfucker up. Do some shit with him.
Not only do I completely 1000% agree with everything you just said, if I could just tack something on, I would also in those vignettes put stuff from like his college football days and shit. Like let people fucking know this dude's dude's a fucking unit. Like,
bro,
let them
clearly
know.
the Gable Steveson project isn't getting off the ground. Give the treatment you were gonna give him to this motherfucker, because you know he's here to stay.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with Foster, given that, you know, God, what was his fucking name? It was Scott, and fucking what was what's his dad's name?
Rick?
I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Yeah, there we go. Maybe don't give him a platform just because of the transphobia recently, but like get his football coach, get Scott Steiner on there. Like, you know, fucking yeah, build this dude up, like you said. Those vignettes could be amazing. So all right.
I mean, to be
So we
fair,
don't know
that
what-
would even work on multiple levels because Rick Steiner has done literally nothing in WWE. So he's not even relevant to the audience he'd be talking to. So yeah, no, don't use him. Use Scott. Let Scott do the talking. And then, yeah, use his football coach. And then, yeah, use, I don't know if you want to get his mother in on it. I don't fucking know. But then, yeah, like, bring in people that have faced him in NXT. Bring in Dolph Ziggler, who beat him and then lost to him for the NXT title. Have other people talk about him.
Yeah, dude, like have Sean talk about him since he kind of runs it.
Yes.
Like, you know,
have
Braun
fucking
came in and-
who is coaching NXT as well? Who are the other coaches? Like people that are in the business that the fans respect, that are coaches in the performance center too.
Is Matt Bloom still there? Because I
He
feel like
might
he's
be,
good
I
about
don't
putting
know.
people over. He's good about putting people over. Like, yeah, I'd get him on one of those packages. Yeah, like. But you know what, though, Javaris? I understand that Scott still hates Triple H, but like, if I was Scott, I wouldn't look at it as helping Triple H. I'd look at it as helping my, you know, I'd look at it as helping Braun.
Nephew.
Look at it as helping my nephew. Yeah. So. All right, but yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for Braun. I still think he's going to take over. Like, I mean, and if let me tell you, if he's on the Raw brand, sorry, Seth, I think that World Heavyweight title is going to be with him sooner rather than later. And God, I'll give that title credit. It's going to have quite a fucking lineage if they play their cards right. You've got Seth as the inaugural champion. You've got apparently anybody could challenge for it because AJ is a part of SmackDown and he hinted that he wants a rematch. You've got Shinsuke. You've got Gunther. You'll have Braun. that title can have a healthy fucking lineage if they wanted to. And then you can
Dude,
have Dominic Mysterio in there after he wins Money in the Bank.
Fit Finley is a name that I'm seeing as a coach.
Yeah, dude, he'd be great for what Braun Breaker Vinny. You kidding me? With how Finley, how long he's been in the fucking business?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
So yeah,
it's an
just
absolute
that.
unit.
That's literally we're on the same page. You just need to build the motherfucker up and give him a platform to like show up and immediately be right back, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. All right, what else? Well, we know. I'll tell you something I do know of because I watched a highlight video of it. I know Dragunov beat Dijak in that
Dude,
last man
he
standing
did,
match.
and that was the worst part of the match because that match was great.
I agree. Again, watching the highlight video, I love the physicality. I just hate the Dijak. Like, he never gets the green light. You know what I mean? Like, or to put it another way that's more relatable to people, he's like, he's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like, they could put him in these big spots, but he's never going to win. And that's a shame because, much like Braun, dude's a fucking unit. Like, look at him. Like, he pulls off the Terminator vibe they're clearly trying to go for with the jacket and the sunglasses. Except, he's not able to terminate. Like, Dragunov was his John Connor, I guess, in this case. That kind of sucks. Would have loved for him to get the win there.
Bro, Alex and Paul are both dunking on David Finley tangentially, and I love it.
Oh, and Foster complimented you. That was sweet.
I saw that. I just love they're both just like fuck David Finley. it's just perfect. Also agreed, yeah.
God, I'm just reading the comments now, and goddamn, I'm glad I was never a David Finley anywhere. That's awful.
Okay, so yeah, Gallus retained against the Creed brothers. No surprise there. Fuck Gallus. Then, we talked about Ilya versus Dijak. Great match. Dijak deserves to be pushed more, and he should have won the match. Noam Dar versus Dragon Lee was a banger, even though I hated the format of it because it was British rounds rules. Dar, I missed. I have to admit, I missed Noam Dar. He's one of the very few remnants of NXT UK that I actually like.
Yeah. We always had a very distinctive style that either you liked it or you didn't.
Yeah.
And I think you and I always kind of liked it.
I will also say that match ended up being like low-key overbooked to hell because every member of Dar's new faction ended up showing up and helping him win.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, but yeah, no, Dragon Lee is great. I didn't get to see much of that match, but the little bit that I did, it seemed like a lot of fun. My mom absolutely loved it, and I didn't get to see it because I was in another room while it was happening, but even though I was in another room, she was watching it, and she was having the time of her life watching it and basically live reacting to it so that I could know what was going on while it was happening. She was basically commentating what was going on.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, honestly. Tiffany winning the title, Mello retaining, and West retaining. That's about it. Yeah, no, that's Battleground. It was a solid show. I definitely better than Double or Nothing, I would say.
Oh my god, dude. I even heard from just very quickly because I don't want to turn this into a thing, but I even heard from very committed AEW fans that Double or Nothing was not their best showing. So hope for their sake and their fans' sake they can bounce back.
If there was anything on Double or Nothing that we haven't talked about, and the only thing that I can really think of is the 6-man tag match, the House of Black versus the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn thing, which who really cares? Of course, House of Black retained. Let's move on.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, but you know what, though? There is something relevant to come out of that because on Wednesday, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn came out, and the Acclaimed proclaimed that they were going to make it their mission to get Billy Gunn a championship in his current run in AEW. They're saying, this motherfucker deserves a title kind of thing.
Wow, the last time that happened was when Woods and Big E wanted Kofi to win the WWE Championship, and I got to tell you, that was a cause worth getting behind. Billy Gunn is a champion in 2023. I don't know if anybody should die on that hill. I don't know why you'd look at that hill and be like, oh, that's moderately attractive. No, it's not. No, it's not. And you're lying to yourself if you think that it is. So, yeah.
I love Paul. Paul in chat is shitting on Dard exclusively because he's Scottish.
Yeah, oh my god.
He literally said, unfortunately Scottish. I might have liked him otherwise. Maybe I'll make him an honorary Englishman. Oh, a Yorkshireman, even better, man.
Foster, I have to ask, you think Von Wagner's anger management program is going to make him respect people that choose to wear glasses inside? But I guess that aside, Do we have anything we want to talk about on Raw or
Oh, did you
SmackDown
see, by
besides?
the way, MJF won the 4-way by pinning Darby with a side headlock takeover?
Yep, second time he's done that to Darby, so
Yeah,
suck on that, Alan.
yeah.
Um,
Anyway, so what did you want to get to?
well, yeah, just is there anything on Raw or SmackDown? Because the only thing worthwhile to me from Raw, which kind of circles back to Javaris' question,
Ah,
it's not necessarily that I want Dom to win Money in the Bank, although let me be perfectly clear and honest. I wouldn't necessarily mind if he did. Like, I've been talking with Dominique on Twitter
ooh.
especially, and I'm like, so if we form an alliance on this, you're not going to betray me, right? And Dom's just like, no. So he totally is, and I'm keeping my head on a swivel. But um, the thing is, the only reason I even speculated about it aloud in the Discord, I posted a clip. Now, if anybody bothered to watch the clip, the reason I asked is because when Judgment Day is bragging about who could be the world champion, Priest and Finn cover each other. That's believable. Finn has been a fixture in WWE for a while. He's very credible, amazing. Love Finn. Kind of miss him as a babyface low key, but that's a separate thing. Priest just did great at Backlash, really carried the whole Bad Bunny thing. He's being treated more seriously. I get it. But then when Rhea said, or maybe it'll be my Dom Dom, Seth and AJ openly laughed at him. And I'm like, you do that, you get the nuclear fucking heat that he's been getting. Dude, him on top of that ladder, holding that fucking briefcase and not being treated as a threat, which I think is why WWE would want to make him a threat in that case. But then they could also make it where it took everybody in Judgment Day, including Rhea probably, to get him that title. Like, I could see them doing it. I'm not necessarily saying they should, although I wouldn't mind it, but I could see it. I could see it. I think absolutely. If you're not talking about Dom winning Money in the Bank, I think you're being a bit willfully ignorant. Personally, I think or just willful denial. I think is a better way to say it.
Can I ask
That's
you a
just how I feel.
question?
Sure, you can ask me anything you want.
If there's something in wrestling that you truly, just to your core, loathe and resent, is there anything wrong with being willfully in denial about it until it's a reality?
Who are we talking about this? No. Okay. No, as long as you're respectful of other people being perceptive of the possibility.
Okay.
And I think that's fair. But yeah, if this is just you rubbing your temples counterclockwise and you're like, no, we're not doing this right now. Now is not the time for that, for the thought that wants to, get in the front of the line. I respect that. I am just saying that I think we should really be mindful of that possibility because I think after that segment for me, now keep in mind, folks, this is me. I'm wrong about a lot. I honestly don't even believe you people still listen to me after all this time with everything I've gotten wrong. But I just look at that segment and I'm like, yeah, they're not going to forget this. And they're not going to make us forget this. And then Super Blue, of course, we know Super Blue because you've been big on that in the Discord. LA Knight qualified for Money in the Bank. That happened on SmackDown, right? And then Zelina qualified for Women's. So
Do you know
these
who else? Do you know who else qualified on Raw?
Ricochet. Ricochet CD
And
Miz. Bronson Reed?
other way around.
Who was his opponent?
Nakamura.
Oh, and Shinsuke. I will say, Javaris, if you're asking where I am, Shinsuke is my emotional pick right now. Now, we don't know how the rest of the field is going to go because Foster just posted that Ali's facing Santos. And honestly, if Santos wins, I love Ali, but I think NXT is actually a better place for him right now. So if Santos wins, he's my emotional pick.
After Zelina qualified to be in the Women's Money in the Bank, there was a backstage segment with the LWO, and Ray was like, the LWO is going to sweep Money in the Bank this year. It's going to be Zelina, Mrs. Money in the Bank, and Santos, Mr. Money in the Bank. And I was just like vinegar stroking all over the place.
Given that you already vinegar stroked in the recording, I just need my time to perv out for just a few seconds and just remind everyone that Santos is a man. And like that briefcase would have never been sexier in its fucking history than alongside Santos. I mean, that hits. That's fucking ripe for a lot of good shit. So yeah, if Santos wins, I am rooting for him 100%. I am throwing all of my girth, both sexually and intellectually, behind Santos Escobar. And fuck LA Knight. I also wanted to put that out there. Fuck LA Knight. Because I don't want him in a ladder match because that's the perfect opportunity for him to injure other people because he doesn't know how to fucking work. He only knows how to do a dollar store Dwayne Johnson impression. So,
You know, I fully expect LA to win the men's, actually. Like, he already qualified. Dom hasn't even qualified, and there's a chance that he just won't. And right now, LA Knight's in, and, like, he's got so much crowd reaction momentum right now. It's hard for me to imagine anyone else winning instead of him.
so that question you asked me a few moments ago, can we run that back? I'm just
No, dude, 100%. That's why, like, the way you feel about Dom is how I feel about LA Knight, and then the way I feel about Dom is the way you feel about LA Knight.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna say this, and you know I love Money in the Bank. I think if LA Knight wins, that's it. I'll concede that WWE wins. They'll have broken me. I will never care about Money in the Bank again. Like,
I hate to
yeah,
even say this, but that might be the healthiest thing because Money in the Bank has been really shitty for a really long time, and you
no,
finally getting to admit that might be good.
I can have an abnormal sense of self-awareness in this moment and say that I have been the problem. Now, don't get it twisted. I will never say that about anything else. But here, yeah, it's definitely been me. But if they do this to me, I'll have to walk away. And I don't know. I think the one thing Money in the Bank really has going for it, I am objectively handsome. Me believing in it gives it credibility. And I think losing me is just a death blow to the whole match concept, honestly. I don't know if anybody else will care about it without me supporting it. And that sounds incredibly egomaniacal, but I mean, I'm right. So I don't know. Good luck with that LA Knight push. Fuck ones.
But no, yeah,
But yeah.
that's pretty much all that I wanted to talk about as far as Raw and SmackDown goes.
All right, then we can get to our extracurricular segment. And we already know that you watched Impact this week. Do you have anything you want to report from that?
I actually watched Impact, you guys. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so I know you told me about some stuff on the show, but if you could reprise, like, didn't they do some good stuff with their women, or am I misremembering? Or maybe I saw that
Well,
online.
I mean, it depends on how you would define good stuff. So the show kicked off with Bully Ray, which just immediate bad vibes. And then Steve Macklin came out, which immediate worse vibes. But then the Motor City Machine Guns came out, and that was kind of cool. And the downside here is that that ended up being the main event. It was the Motor City Machine Guns versus Bully Ray and Steve Macklin. I didn't watch the main event because I don't give a fuck about one of those tag teams. And when I don't give a fuck about an entire side of a tag team match, I'm just not going to watch it. But then we got Eddie Edwards versus Yuya Uemura, and that was fun. I like Yuya Uemura. He's cool. I like him. I can't wait for him to come back to New Japan and hopefully get a push, maybe even on a similar level to what Tsuji is getting right now, where he's literally challenging for the world title at Dominion in his first match back. It's going to be nuts. But of course, Eddie Edwards won because Yuya is still considered a young lion because this is literally his young lion excursion. So Eddie won. Frankie Kazarian returned to check on Eddie, I guess.
Okay.
Or not to check on, but to check, like to give him like a reality check, like to call him out, basically.
Right.
There was a really shitty match, a tag team match, Sammy Callahan and his boy Jake Christ versus The Decay, which was Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. Didn't like that
Nice.
because fuck Sammy Callahan. But then we got to the highlight of the show, which was Trinity versus Savannah Evans. Of course, Trinity won because it's Trinity. She won with the Starstruck, which is the like figure four headlock that she does, the submission.
Okay.
Or actually, no, it's not a figure four headlock. She does a submission. I don't remember what it is. I'm sorry. But she did win with her submission that she wins with now. That's just her thing now. I forget what it looks like even. And then she called out Deonna Purrazzo because Under Siege just happened on May 26th, and that was a match between Deonna and Jordynne Grace, where if Jordan didn't win Deonna's championship, she could never challenge her for that title again while Deonna hold the title. Jordan lost, so she can no longer challenge Deonna for the title, right?
Okay.
Before that match happened, though, Trinity straight up said, I got winner. So Deonna retained. Trinity called out Deonna on the show this past Thursday. Deonna comes out and accepted the challenge for Slammiversary. So we're getting Trinity challenging Deonna for the Knockouts Championship at Slammiversary. Next up, we had Giselle Shaw Savannah Evans and someone else who I literally have no clue who they even were, and I am referring to them as they because I don't even know if they were, what gender they would identify as. I couldn't tell if they were male, female, what. I genuinely don't know. Um, but then they all attacked Trinity and Deanna both. Jordan Grace came out to make the save.
Ah, okay.
So Jordan came out for the save, but here's the thing. Weird moment where Impact books better than AEW. The trio that are all on the same page and had already beaten down Trinity and Deanna overwhelmed Jordan with numbers.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's smart.
And Giselle kneed Jordan in the face multiple times, and it was like they were selling her knees to the face like it was like a finisher, so it was like really brutal, like the way that Adam Cole sold Soraya's kendo stick shots on his fiance or whatever Britt is to him anymore.
Yeah.
So it was like this really brutal moment, and then yeah, like Giselle fucking stood with a boot on Jordan's chest or back. She was standing on her basically with one foot, and basically saying like, yeah, this is my division, I run this shit, like that kind of thing. So they're kind of building up towards in the immediate future Giselle versus Jordan, but in the deep future Giselle challenging for the Knockouts title. So I think that's cool shit.
Nice. Good for
Like
Impact.
I said, that segment, the match, and then the segment kind of, the post-match fallout was the highlight of the show for me. Danny Luna versus Jody Threat. I barely paid attention to it, honestly, because I was still kind of glowing from the Trinity, Deanna, Giselle stuff. Then there was a whole thing with Joe Hendry that I didn't really pay attention to. Killer Kelly, though, is going to be in a dog collar match against Masha Slamovich at Against All Odds. I want to watch that. That sounds cool as hell to me.
Okay, yeah.
I've never seen a women's dog collar match before. Have you?
No, never.
Hey, AEW or Impact innovating in places where not even WWE will go.
There you go. Wow.
And then it was actually, you know what? I take it back. The main event wasn't the Machine Guns versus Bully Ray and Steve Macklin. It was the Machine Guns versus Subculture, which is, you remember that back in NXT UK, it was Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're in Impact now, and it was them. So it was that match. I didn't watch
Okay.
it. I didn't care. I just ended it at that point. But yeah, no, Impact was pretty up and down, but, the best part of Impact was better than most of AEW this week. And it was a good Impact, or it was a good AEW this week, too.
Yeah, good, man, good. Anything else to report?
I mean, no, actually, now that I think about it, no.
Well, I didn't do any extracurriculars, so we can move on to Q&A, strictly pertaining to this week in the world of wrestling, although this month is a, more general Q&A month. That won't be until the end of June.
Oh, snap! The last Thursday in June is going to be the 29th.
Yes, but this is actually coming at a good time because we have 10 people watching. So Caster Sales opening with a question. Don't you think if Santos and Zelina win Money in the Bank, they'll betray Ray? Not necessarily. It's rare that you have two babyface Money in the Bank winners. It'd be cool if Santos betrayed Ray because he's literally taller than him, but I don't necessarily see that happening. Mainly because I don't see Santos winning the men's Money in the Bank in the first place, and to be fair, I don't see Zelina winning women's either. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, Javaris brings up that Alex Shelley is the #1 contender for the Impact World title. That's a great point. Bully Ray did this whole fucking shtick about, oh man, Alex Shelley, you're a great wrestler, but you just could never win the big one, and you just can't handle being the great wrestler that could never win the big one, could you? It was so dumb. Bully Ray is just like, I'm gonna kiss the ass of my coworker, but then also make sure that everyone knows that he's not a main eventer too.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Any other questions?
I don't think we have any other questions yet.
No, only Caster. So yeah, the forum's open, guys. Whatever you want to ask about this week in the world of wrestling,
baby.
Super Blue. Any chance Ford goes heel for losing yesterday? It could be the start of a slow simmer, or it could be nothing. What do you think, Ashton?
He should have won. He should have just won. Fuck LA Knight.
Yeah, he should have won. How do you fuck up not having or I should say, let me run that back. How do you fuck up just having Ford in a Money in the Bank ladder match? Like, that writes itself. Like, could have been a great highlight reel.
Here's the thing, though. They have Ricochet in it already.
Yeah, true. Fuck. All right. So do you think it's the start of him going heel, or do you think it's just a nothing burger and it's going to be him and Dawkins just
I
still
mean,
doing their thing?
Dawkins didn't even get a qualifying match, so like, I don't know.
Yeah, if anything, Dawkins has more reason to be a heel than Ford.
Unless Dawkins does get a qualifying match. If they both lose, though, maybe they'll just turn heel as a team. That would be compelling. I'd like that.
Yeah. Paul asked, "What are you feeling about New Japan nowadays?" It's slightly getting better, but I'm still very largely mad on it, Paul. I'm
Dude, literally
curious to
within the
react.
next few hours, Dominion's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then we're only reacting to like a few matches in that. What is it, like 2 matches that we're in for Dominion, or
Well,
three
I was gonna
matches?
actually ask you, did you want to react to the U.S. title match?
What's the U.S. title match?
Osprey Archer.
Not really, Osprey. I just feel like because Osprey's the champion in that,
Yeah.
I think he's just gonna retain. Honestly,
Okay. I
I
just
I
figured I'd
like
ask
Archer.
because Archer's so good.
He is so good. I'm almost tempted to say yes, but I just feel like Archer's gonna lose, and like there's no suspension for me of
Gotcha.
like
Yeah.
he's gonna win. Um,
Oh wait, no,
but
dude, I'm wrong. It's not a championship match. It's a number one contendership tournament final. So the winner of this match will get to challenge the champion. Who is the champion? Just Moxley right now?
if it's Moxley, Archer and Moxley go with history. You know what? Maybe we could check that match out because you're right. Archer is good, and I'd be curious how the
Oh, dude, it's
contrast and
Omega.
stuff.
It's Omega. Omega's the champion right now.
Omega. Oh, yeah, Osprey's definitely winning that then. Now I'm kind of going back to not wanting to do it. Eh, what do you think?
You know what, dude? I honestly, if it was just a regular special singles match, I'd be curious about it because I think it's just going to be a high quality match because of Archer.
Fair enough. We'll watch it. It's what? It's gonna be no more than like 20 minutes probably. That's nothing. We can do
It's an
that. Fuck it.
undercard match, so it might not even go 15, honestly.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm gonna just go over matches that have literally any level of intrigue to me at all, and let you be the filter that decides whether we react to it or not. Okay.
okay, yeah, sure.
Kevin Knight and Kushida versus Francesco Akira and TJP for the junior heavyweight tag titles.
I'm only saying yes because I don't think I've seen much of Kevin Knight, and he's really been blowing up. I want to see this dude up close.
Okay. ZSJ versus Jeff Cobb for the TV title.
Yes.
Hiramu versus Master Wato for the junior title.
Only because Wato may finally get his payoff. Yes.
Yeah.
We're reacting a lot more matches than I thought we would already.
6-man tag: Ishii, Tanahashi, and Okada versus Umino, Castagnoli, and Moxley.
Honestly, I'm gonna say no to that. I'm not really into that.
Same. And of course, Sonata Tsuji.
And we're already doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
So
actually a healthier reaction I thought it would be.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 matches total for Dominion.
That's not bad. I think that's a healthy reaction
Good
set
for
for
New
Dominion.
Japan. They actually put together a decent card for us. And really, I think that 6-man tag title is like borderline. Like if we really felt if we were feeling the show 4 matches in, we could call an audible and decide to watch that.
We could. I just looking on paper, I'm like, that doesn't really like the talent's there, but like
if it was Danielson over Moxley, we'd say yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or not
for
over Moxley, over Castagnoli, we'd say yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
All right. What the fuck were we even talking? Oh yeah, because Paul asked about New Japan.
We thought about New Japan,
so yeah, we've got a few more questions since then. Caster Sales asking, Daniel Garcia came to challenge Shibata for Pure Championship at the end of Rampage. Do you think Shibata will retain? I hope so.
What the fuck is Daniel Garcia doing challenging for it?
Well, I mean, he is a former Pure Champion, to be fair, so he might
he's the one that lost the title, I thought, to Wheeler Yuta, who lost the title to Shibata.
So now I guess Garcia's just like, I've waited long enough. I want my rematch.
Oh my
God.
Yeah. Go away, Daniel. Jesus Christ, he needs a repackage bad.
Yeah, I just hope Shibata retains.
He's fucking better. You know who needs to be the one to beat Shibata? Oh, never mind. It just happened. I was going to say Lee Moriarty, but he just got the fucking shot on Rampage last night.
Foster said, what should be Braun's first feud? Seemingly, he's getting over with the whole shush thing. I think Gable should be his first feud. I think Braun should come in as a heel, keep up that energy that he had leaving NXT, and then gradually turn him more babyface. I think they should go the opposite route. Have him be heel.
Dude, though,
then go babyface.
You know what, though? That you realize, though, that is going to lead to the first major act of strength by Braun, which is lifting him up for the power slam for Otis.
Yeah, true. That's going to be dope. Foster, I hate how they treat Dawkins. It legit hurts. Yeah, Dawkins, he's definitely grown on me more, Foster, because I used to think nothing of him in NXT, to be honest. But main roster has done good for him, even if they haven't done good by him necessarily. Super Blue, should Sami and KO get new titles soon, like Roman? They may. I don't know what WWE's doing with their championship revamps. I'm guessing those tag titles may get revamped eventually, but we'll have to wait and see. Super Blue, I honestly don't know.
I love Abel so much.
Oh, Abel, you think people should hit a like button if they haven't already? I mean, if we're producing good stuff, we always appreciate it. Leave a like button to let us know that you're liking what you're hearing, and it definitely helps us fight the algorithm. So, let's see.
Fuck the algorithm.
Yeah, out the ass. Super Blue said, given the current field, should Money in the Bank be an 8-person or 6-person? I've always liked 6. I think it's more compact, but it's also an even number. But if you've got a strong enough mid-card pool, I'm cool with 8. But you just got to make it believable. Like, you know.
I think it has to be 8, right? 4 from Raw, 4 from SmackDown?
True, yeah. Especially if they're, you know, doing the brand split and it's only one ladder match and whichever brand, you know, wins, that's the briefcase. Although I'm pretty sure the briefcase is going to be a mechanism that you can do across shows like it's always been.
Yes.
So, yeah, 8's fine. 8's fine. That catches us up. So any more questions? I can ask again now that we got through this current pile.
Yeah, we got through the second wave.
John and Ashton dominating piles. Name a more iconic duo.
Mm-hmm.
While we're waiting, when are we doing those Dominion reactions again? Just so that I remember on the schedule, since we're going to be doing 5 matches, which is honestly, like,
you know, dude,
3 more
this coming week is really tough for me because, like, you can still hear me, right?
I can, yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, this coming week is tough for me because, like, Monday, I have my mom has a huge thing that she's got to be doing that starts at like 9:30 a.m. and that they literally told us could take all day. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to do Monday. We're gonna want to do Stardom Tuesday night and Wednesday and Thursday, and we've got 5. So like, I really don't know when we're gonna end up being able to do Dominion, honestly.
Maybe just next Saturday we can do it. You know, we can do either that at 4 and then keep to our review at 10. Or...
Oh, it wouldn't be at 4. If we were to do that on next Saturday, it would be at like 7.
Oh, yeah, because 5 matches shouldn't take that long, I guess. Yeah. I always overthink because, you know, pay-per-views and stuff. But, yeah, maybe just next Saturday. You know, it's a bit later than I know either one of us.
We'll play it by ear, honestly, because if I get home in time on Monday, we can just do it Monday.
Yeah,
because
that's
like,
true.
When a doctor's office says all day, that could translate to until like 3 or 4. In which case, we should be home in time to be able to do it fine at like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see.
Yeah. Just wanted to see if you had any, like, give an idea. You know, you and I talk about stuff a lot. Yeah. And in the time that we've been talking, nobody submitted anything, so I'm ready to move on to high spots, low shots.
You know, your son's gonna love this.
High spots, low shots. My low shot is Jimmy Uso.
You should have stood up for himself, though.
Yeah, well, here's my retort. You should have respected him. You should have obeyed him. You should have acknowledged him. Now you got your throat thumbed. Congratulations, fuckwad. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy breathing, fuckface. Yeah, Jimmy Uso is the sole reason his family's falling apart, and it's bad, and he should feel bad. I hope he internalizes it, and I hope he never forgets it. Way to go, Jimmy. Great fucking week for you. Who's your low shot?
I thought Johnny Scumbag was dead. What the fuck?
I gotta be honest, I've really been enjoying how Roman Reigns is a piece of shit. It's making me feel things, and yeah, it's been a great time. I'm having a great time.
So we barely talked about Stardom on this show, but just based on the shows that we got to react to this week, my low shot's Jessie, because she cannot pick up a dub anymore to save her life.
Wow, low-key rude, and I'm gonna have to pull you aside and talk to you later, but okay, that's fine. So, high spot.
I hate it, but it's true.
Oh, wow, way to double down right before I get my high spot there. High spot. God, high spot might even be Tiffany because she got me to feel bad for somebody that I should have laughed at. High spot. It's actually a bit tougher for me because you're right. We have watched a good bit of Stardom. I know, Abel. I know. It hurts me too.
Well, and not just that too, but Stars keeps picking on her. Like, they're really mean to her.
They really are. It's a problem.
It's so unnecessary. Like, what the hell?
I think it is.
I thought Club Venus were supposed to be the bullies, not the bullied. What the hell?
Dude, I don't know what's happening anymore.
I don't know if Rossi does either, sadly.
God damn it. Stop it. I'm trying to get a high spot. So I'm gonna say high spot Nakamura. Honestly, I'd like to give a stronger one, but I like Nak and I'm happy that he qualified. I think he's a great addition to a Money in the Bank match. And honestly, if Nak won, I'd pop. Like, that dude owes Roman Reigns something. And by something, I mean a knee to the face. Like, I'd love to see it happen. So I'm gonna say Nak for my high spot. Who's your high spot?
Along similar lines, I'm actually gonna give my high spot to Zelina Vega.
Nice. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, because like her momentum from Backlash has cooled off a little bit, but she's still really fucking over. And like she beat Lacey Evans, who you and I both kind of assume is like held in high regard by the backstage. And she did it with a Yoshi Tonic. It's not like she just kind of beat her with like a flash pin. So like, yeah, it kind of seems like this is just like a sustained push for her. So like, yeah, good for you, Zelina, the first woman to qualify for Money in the Bank this year. Like, good job.
All right. I'm feeling giddy now that I just remembered the kind of week that Roman Reigns had. So I'm ready to get out of here. Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, you just experienced TWitWoW in review, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary Ashton. If you'd be so kind, please leave a like as you file out, click the bell icon for notifications, and subscribe so you don't miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best in all the IWC. And we will see you guys again. I mean, certainly Tuesday at 10 for Stardom live reactions, hopefully to the 521 show. I don't think they've gotten anything from that show up yet, but we're hoping they do because then the next stop is Flashing Champions and then New Blood, where we'll be skipping Mai Sakurai versus Nanae Takahashi because fuck them both. And again, that'll be Tuesday at 10 p.m. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be good to yourselves and each other. And as always, tune in